You're listening to BleedTV, the only podcast today's best shows and movies. I'm Zack.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Cash.
Game of Thrones, Beyond the Wall. What number was this? Number 6?
6.
I should know this because I'm effing pissed we only got one more episode.
Yeah, kind of devastating, but...
Director? Who? Alan Taylor? That
Yeah.
was?
I was like, man, you said it right before this thing started, and I already forgot his name again.
I know. Like, it's not a. I don't recognize the name, so it's not. I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen this guy before.
Okay. Anyway, it goes. Let's just go ahead and do it, man. What's the overall thoughts? Cash, your last.
I mean, I hold true that this was an absolutely retarded plan, but just the way they executed it, I guess, like that, I enjoyed it. So, a top-notch episode to me.
I will say this episode had so many head-scratching moments and so many things like what the fuck and all that other good stuff. But how many? I mean, I was on the edge of my seat most of the episode, anticipating so much that was going on. You know, calm down over there, Sugar Britches. Okay, you'll have your turn. But I enjoyed it. But yes, I do think there was a lot of technical flaws. I think the fast forwarding on some things is just astronomical. I thought last episode was fast on some things. This one was
insane.
Light years. I felt like the only thing missing was, Enterprise and Beam Me Up or something like that. That was the only thing missing here. But go ahead, Cash. Dazzle us.
They have to jetpack, though. They have to.
Oh, man.
Yes.
The memes of ravens and everything.
Yeah, the Raven with the two
the jetpacks and everything.
I was like, oh,
it's like
jet engines.
Unleaked footage of the Ravens used to send the Dragonstone.
It got two turbine motors on each wing. Yeah.
I was cracking up. But no, entertainment value. Like, this was a great episode. But actually, compared to an episode of Game of Thrones, this was the worst episode I've ever seen.
Wow. I mean, you just went really dark.
Yeah, I mean, you must be. I mean, are you depressed?
No, I mean, I'm depressed at how terrible the episode was compared to other Game of Thrones episodes.
I can't wait to hear this as we go through this.
Like, entertainment-wise, it was like
I can
Batman
think of
vs.
at
Superman.
least 10 episodes that were worse than this. I can think of a lot.
I don't know. I mean, everything is moving so fast. It's like when you're so used to, and this is what I would say, I kind of agree with you. Game of Thrones never rushes anything for the other seasons, right? Yeah. It's always kind of plotting and well written, and everything kind of unfolds in a nice form. Other than season 2 and Dany's storyline, which was just so slow you could murder her.
I mean, it was like molasses.
Let's move on.
But I was surprised. I guess I'm surprised that they said they only had enough content for 7 episodes. Because to me, half of this episode could have been an episode.
Well, let's change that. They said content, but I really think it's more like budget.
Well, so like what I found, like part of it was like the actors are paid per episode. So you cut off 3 episodes, you save a couple $1 million right there.
Well, each episode has a budget of $6 million. We read that. I mean, each episode has a $6 million budget.
And so if like the actors are put into that, then yeah, I guess you only have.
I mean, it's insane.
But the thing is, if you cut 3 episodes off, that's $18 million right there.
True.
That pays for Drogon. That pays for
all Drogon.
Well, and Viserion and Rhaegal, because they actually did a little bit this episode.
And about the 400 characters that got nuked and all the dudes turned to ash. I mean, there's a lot going on there.
I agree. So I think the money is well spent.
Yes.
But I will agree with Cash in the fact that we're not getting as quality a writing because they're having to go so fast.
I agree. There's no doubt. I'm with you on that.
And there's a lot of awkwardness with Bran, even when he's not in the episode.
It's just execution. A lot of the execution of how they're doing about certain parts are kind of like you said, just goes back to fast forward. I agree with you 100%. Let's dive into the episode. It opens right up with a really cool visual of it going right over the war table at Dragonstone to have a really good conversation with, just not the conversation, but to see the fire right over there against the wall, just to highlight that room,
Oh, yeah.
And then it goes over to the John and company, the usual suspects walking. Now, key point here.
Terrible editing.
Okay. I paused.
10 people.
10 people. And that is going to be an important number later. Okay. So let's make sure we're clear on that. There are 10 people walking. And I mean, they are walking and walking and continuing to walk and walking some more.
I mean, we went through like 4 different
Valleys and
region changes. Like we had mountains, we had blizzard, we had regular walking. There was a lot of different climate change going on.
We're going to have a conversation about the time when it gets there.
But there's a terrible editing faux pas right here, as just stated. 10 people.
10, and we'll get to it.
Yes.
We'll get to it. Now, what I do like about this is that we get these moments of conversations between different people in the party. And
Great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
This is what
strong
makes
writing.
it.
Strong
Like that. And Tormund, starting off, and talking with, I'm just,
We do what we can.
Well, it was like,
with
how
what
do
we
you
have.
stay warm? It was like, and I was like, yes,
We
Torben,
walk.
talk about that bear.
Yeah.
Bring Sheila up. Let's go.
Yeah.
we're walking is good, fighting's better, and effing's the best, and Westeros smells like pig shit,
And then,
and all
like-
this.
And then it was like you said, like he looks over at Gendry, he was like, we make do with what we got. I was like, if I'm Gendry, I'm like buttholes puckering, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
oh.
There's not a woman around. A lot of living woman around for miles. We make do with what we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, if I'm Gendry, I'm dropping back about 15 paces from
Yeah.
Torben.
Right. And
Tormund's
so,
a big ugly bear.
Oh yeah,
and then he's talking to John, and he talks about how pride will get you killed, and basically reverting to I won't take a knee and everything, and how
Pride will get your people killed.
right, and
Which-
Mans Raider was a
terrible.
good example of that.
No, he was an awful example of that because when him and John talked, he said pride has nothing to do with this, and if you think that's the case, then there's no point of even talking. And so pride was the last thing that was on Mance Raider's mind when he wouldn't knee.
But to everybody else, it looks like pride.
I mean, it was definitely said from Mance's lips that pride was not the issue.
I mean,
and he didn't want his people to die for somebody else's war. It had nothing to
and
do
I
with
get
pride.
that.
But has a proudful person ever said, "It's my pride"?
Well, I
You know,
mean,
it's-
true, but like when it's coming from his lips and everything and saying, I'm not bringing my people over here just so they can be slaughtered in somebody else's war, that's not pride. That's making sure his people are as safe as possible.
yeah. I also agree, though, by not taking the knee, they could just come slaughter you where you stand, or not let you through the wall. Period, and you will all die.
True, but
You could be slaughtered on this side or on the other side.
is that
Yeah.
pride or is it just...
I mean, if you take the knee, they stand a chance. If you don't, they don't. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they got through.
They got through because John was
Hey.
nice.
Hey, I mean,
Right.
it wasn't pride.
Because John found a chick, was
Egret?
bathed in fire or whatever.
Kissed by fire or
Kissed
something.
by fire.
Kissed by
Yeah.
fire. That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, Egret. How
Lord's
it's
kiss.
Yeah. So then you also get Gendry, and he's talking to Thoros, and he's like, you bastards, you sold me. I want to be like one of you guys, and quit your complaining, and then the Hound.
Yes.
You're
Sage.
wiggling. You're wiggling, dude.
No, what did he call it? You're wincing.
Yeah, something
Wincing.
like wincing.
No,
Wincing.
Yeah, wingling. I've got it wrote it down, but I can't read my own damn
Oh,
writing.
yeah.
whinging.
Whinging.
Yes,
That's it,
you're
whinging.
whinging. I'm
You're
not
whinging.
whinging. Your lips are moving and you're complaining. You're whinging.
She got me naked. Was she naked?
Yeah.
Is that the point?
Yeah, he's like, it starts off good.
Starting to
Like,
sound good here.
What are you complaining about?
She put
leeches
leeches
on me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, okay. It's like just how the entire time, like, I mean, let's switch spots.
I've heard worse. It's like,
And then it
we've all seen her.
Yeah. I mean,
So then it goes to Jorah and John, and they talk about how his father and how his deserved a better son, and he would have died for those men, and he died. Instead he died that way, and how wrong it was. And I was waiting on the moment that John was going to offer the sword, so I was happy that they decided to do this. Did y'all see that coming?
Absolutely. I mean, they had to have the conversation.
At least, yeah.
I just saw this happening 3 episodes ago. When it actually made sense.
Yeah.
Now, I totally expect all these conversations to take place while they're walking, because we have too many good characters, too many well-written characters in the same spot. It would just help if Davos was there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
He could have been the mediator for all conversations.
I mean, he would have just been smoothly walking in and out of every conversation. But,
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Just giving a one-liner
Yeah.
as he walks by. Yeah, I thought all this was extremely well played. I mean, every conversation I was interested in, they explain things, very
Yes.
simply. You know what I mean? It's just
and things were subtle. It wasn't
Jorah
it wasn't
and,
poured on.
Thoros, who's like, I just got to ask you, how drunk were you when you went through those gates and everything? He was like, I don't remember running through the gate. Like,
I thought you were the bravest man I've ever seen.
Just
No,
a drunk.
just a drunk. It's just like
I was like,
awesome.
that is the perfect. And
Right.
George just like the entire time, like,
Yes,
you gotta
yes,
be
yes,
kidding
yes.
me.
Yep.
And then we get old Sheila out of nowhere.
Sheila.
what? Okay, well, Sheila is the bear that Tormund has
supposedly
sex
had sex
with in
with.
the rumors.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So you lost me right
This
here.
is a past Tormund
Yes.
story.
It-
Okay. Well, that's what Tormund is so famous for, supposedly, is mating with a bear.
And it's also rumored that it's actually one of the Mormonts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
exactly.
there's that.
Yeah, that the bear could actually mean
A literal
a giant woman, a bear woman, a Mormon.
I got you.
Okay, from Bear Island. Anyway, the bear part, I was super excited because they showed the bear at the distance. I was like, well, yeah, polar bears, this is the right climate for them and stuff. I was like, whatever. And that's normally in movies where you see polar
Yeah.
bears, like at a distance, barely moving. And then you hear Gendry say, I've never seen a polar bear with blue eyes. And I was like, yes,
here we
ice
go.
bears. Here we go.
Okay. All right. Well, you blew past a good part of here. Okay. You two pump the brakes over there. Before we get to the bear, you realize we had a spot in Winterfell, and we also had more conversation where we talk with Beric, and we have Tormund. We're like, he says, Dick, what's Dick? And
Cock.
cock. And he goes, and I got a woman waiting on me back home.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Tall,
Oh, yeah.
and he's like, Brienne of Tarth? He's like, yeah,
You
you
know
know her. And he goes, you're with Brienne? Well, not yet.
How do you know her? Yeah, it's like, well, shoot, make babies with her. They'll
Conquer
be
the world.
Monsters. She goes, how does she take to your advances? Like she's disgusted by me. You know Brienne. We've met. Yeah, I love it.
Gingers, I hate y'all.
I fucking hate gingers.
I'm stuck all the way out here with this motherfucker.
Oh man.
Oh my god! And then of course you have the part where Beric's like, you don't favor your father. And going into the conversation, the Lord of Light must want you alive for something. And he's like, what? It's like, well, you're fighting for life. Your first enemy and your last enemy is death. And death. The key line, of course, is death always wins.
And
Coming between the only two people who've looked at death, punched it in the face, and came back to life.
yeah, but
you
really cool scene though, where they're like, we are the shield that guards, what is it, the lives of men or whatever.
I don't remember.
You don't remember that? Anyway, it's like his Night's Watch
Okay.
vow, but then Beric says maybe that's enough. You know what I mean? So I thought that was really well done. Because Beric, normally I could give a shit. You know what I mean? What he's saying, what he's got going on.
I mean, I wish he was more interesting, but just making his sword come on fire is about the best I get from Beric.
Yeah, and they focus on it so much.
They really do.
They show him
I mean, he did it
like
7 times this episode?
Okay, and the thing is, it's not consistent either. When he slices his hand on it, I'm like, okay, that's how he does it. But then later in the episode, we see him just draw it out of his sheath and it lights fire immediately.
Yeah, it's like Lightbringer coming out.
Like, damn it.
Yeah. Well, in this episode, there was a couple times where you actually see him run his hand across.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, there was. I mean,
You see it.
Yeah, but like you said last episode, so there is, like you said, inconsistency. I'm with you on that. All right, something y'all know. So this is right about the time that the Hound goes, "Here's the mountain, the Arrowhead Mountain I saw in the vision." Okay, did y'all recognize the mountain? I was looking at it going, I swear I've seen it. So of course the internet and its infinite genius reminded me of, this is the mountain where
They
the
found
Night
the-
King was created. This is where the children of the
Okay,
forest
yeah,
were
I saw
right
this.
there when it was green, and they created him in front of that mountain.
Yeah, I remember seeing this on the internet too.
Right.
Something about this. But it looks pretty.
Yeah.
Apparently this is in Norway or something like that. This actual mountain is pretty badass. So I thought it was pretty wicked. I mean, that means they film and that's something, and that's real.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real thing. That's like, cool.
That seems like it would have been a huge pain to track all of that equipment out there for this shot.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I posted a video where they did it like that. A lot of this stuff was green screen. A lot of the stuff you see, action, everything like
Okay.
that. Every bit of it, like there was On location, not near as much as you thought. You know, which I don't blame you. I mean, it looks like if you stayed out there for 20 minutes, you'd die. But you know,
Definitely.
they filmed in Iceland a lot, Norway, whatever like that, and the max they could film was 4 hours, and then they had to go in there and rethaw out your actors. So you know,
There we go.
Imagine your equipment. I mean,
Yeah.
filming is like that's some touchy equipment itself.
And those ears had to be pretty red.
oh yeah.
I mean, no caps or nothing.
Gendry.
Yeah, no headgear.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Come on, dude.
It's like, John, I know you got luscious hair, but like, wear a hat.
There was a quick snippet in there where we get to see a robotic Arya and Sansa talk about how father used to watch me right here, and I used to shoot a single arrow over and over again.
Makes no sense.
And then he clapped and applauded because he knew that this is where I wanted to be, and he was okay with it, even though the rules were broken.
This makes no sense because you remember the first scene that we ever see with Arya?
She shoots a bolt into the arrow.
Yeah.
Or shoots an arrow into the
And
target.
she's younger than Bran, and Bran's 10. So,
Is she younger than Bran?
pretty sure.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think she's older than Bran.
Oh, then I just got confused because Bran's 6'19", and
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
that's my
Yeah,
bad.
he
then.
grew. Emotions didn't. Remember?
They got lucky with every child
Child with-
actor other than Bran.
Which, I mean, that's a home run. You
Yeah,
take
you
that
can
every
never
time.
ask for better than that.
yeah.
Because I mean, we've all seen things where they just like, oh, it gets out of hand.
Yo, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, we got to replace him.
We've got to
This
replace
dude's looking like-
everybody, and
20-year-old Macaulay Culkin. It's not good. It's not good. He's got a severe drug problem.
no,
Yeah.
no more Home Alones, guys. We're cutting off at 2.
Jesus, more like homeless.
Oh god! All right, so we finally get Dany and Tyrion talking, and Dany kind of comes around a little bit and is like, the reason I like you is because you're not a hero. Heroes do foolish things to be heroes and blah blah blah. And I actually really enjoyed this conversation back and forth. It was kind of tit for tat,
And poor Kit Harington, just keeps getting ragged on for being 5'8". Like, the guy just can't catch a break.
It's average male height, man. Get off his back.
Danny's like, I want to wear heels, damn it. Like, how dare you?
Oh god!
Take it some platforms.
Yeah, it was like, oh, man. But no, I mean, it was a really good conversation.
I enjoyed it. And he was talking about laying traps and the wheel that Aegon created, and she wants to destroy. I love the banter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She sounds so much more not mature, but like more
authoritative
and understanding, and making good decisions. By testing his thoughts and his comments and stuff.
And Tyrion being brave enough to be like, look, you're gonna have to be the bigger person in this, and there's a lot of risk that goes involved with this, and we're somehow gonna have to be able to push forward and continue with this plan.
Yeah, I like this when she's not being so serious. Mm-hmm. Because when she's being serious, she's being impulsive. You know what I mean? Like when everything falls on her, she's super impulsive. Just does the first thing that came to her mind, usually the darkest decision.
Well, I mean,
Right,
I have 3 dragons, and my impulsive thing is, let's just burn stuff.
Right. Yeah. Which he mentions that. He does. The part of the conversation that soured for me at the very end was when they were talking about your successor. You know what I mean? I did think that was a touch early. You know what I mean? To talk about something like that.
Well,
Yes,
no, because what this was doing, if you listen to what he talks about the Ironborn, and he talks about the Night's Watch. He talks about democracy, is what he's explaining to her. Mm-hmm. It's like, you can't have any children. You want to break the wheel. This is an option. The Night's Watch vote on their next commander, right?
Yeah.
And the Ironborn do too.
I just don't think that's an option with her situation. I don't think anybody can fill her shoes.
That's the point. She doesn't want someone to fill her shoes.
Well, what I'm saying, let me rephrase what I'm saying is, even if somebody were, who would even be your elective council? Where would your democracy be? And then who would even be a candidate worth to say? You know what I mean? Like,
A potential husband?
That's what I'm saying. The Ironborn, they come forward.
Yeah,
Whoever.
anybody who wants to be king, who goes to that king's moot, and then whoever gets the loudest cheers ends up becoming king.
Right. And then you have to be drowned.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm just saying, he's subtly telling us that democracy is a possible future. Because there can't be another king. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, just democracy to vote for, not necessarily.
Right. That's what I say. Like, it's too early for that. Until she has the throne, until that place is in place, her setting up anything now is moot. I mean, her people are spread out. Things are in different. I mean, that's why I was saying I understand what Tyrion's saying, and he has a good point. I just, like she said, it's too early in the game to even create a system for that to be in place, considering we're not in control or in charge or.
But that's also Tyrion's job, is to think about because if she dies, what's he supposed to do? Like, he's trying to survive.
He better go effing hide.
Exactly. And so, like, it's logical for why he's trying to go ahead and set this.
Well, that's self-benefiting. That's not for him. It is, but and I understand.
And for her to make sure that her plan lives on.
And the thing is, he sees how impulsive she's being.
Mm-hmm.
She's putting herself at risk. So it's like, if you're going to keep doing this, and you still want this to succeed for all of your friends that have followed you, then we need to set up some kind of plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's, like I said, once she gets serious, she gets impulsive, and I don't like her as much.
Right.
But I mean, like, siding with you, like, I hate to play both sides of it. If she dies, those dragons are gone and the army's lost.
Right. I mean, so, like, what's to come in charge of?
For you, like, it makes sense to be like, there's no reason for her to even want to plan a successor because it's just not possible.
Right. I mean, she dies, all is lost. He said that statement. If you go, you die. Heart hits you. One arrow hits your heart. All is lost.
He's saying that because there's no successor.
I think the statement is true either way.
Okay.
Even if you have a successor, I think all is lost.
Well, it's kind of true either way. And she's explaining as well, like, it all is moot until I get the crown.
Exactly.
And he's saying, you're right, but if you get the crown and then you die, or whatever the case may be, we have to figure something out. You know what I mean? It's like, they're both saying the same thing almost.
Yeah.
It's just,
well, they're both right, but the timing is the difference.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we get to the part where they're out there in the snow and you see a bear in the distance, and Gendry's like, I've never seen a bear with blue eyes. Okay, this is where the count of men becomes important. Okay,
it jumps to 13, I think.
Okay, well, no, it doesn't jump anywhere. All we know is
we get another thing where there's 13 men.
Okay, well, I didn't see that part. All I know is that we get this amazing bear fight stuff, and 2 men get killed.
All right, so there's officially 2 dead by mauling.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 gets taken away and 1 gets killed.
Correct. Okay. That would drop us, based on what I've seen, we know we have 7 main people.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, 3
fluff. 3 cannon fodder.
Average Joes.
Yeah.
And but there's another scene before we get to the bear attack where it jumps from 10 to 13 people.
Which is absolute BS.
And that's why I was saying it was terrible editing, because...
It was. Oh, don't worry. More people die when they're surrounded.
If it's 13, does the math still add up?
Well, it drops to 11, and then...
I still don't think it adds up.
No, well, I mean...
It was all over the map.
In this episode, I think we see the same guy die 4 times. Like, I'm convinced it was like the same death scene as when we were fighting the...
Well, let's see if we can remember all the deaths.
Okay, we'll talk about it when we get to it. All right, we know this. I'm going to be honest with you. The bear attack and the bear special effects like that were phenomenal.
Oh yeah. So badass.
This was so impressive. Those bears, I mean, were...
It was up there with the Reverend.
I'm not going to lie to you, man. I watched this 3 or 4 times. I was just blown away with how amazing they looked.
Oh, and that one that's attacking Thoros has his whole rib cage exposed on one side and stuff.
It was on fire. I mean,
and then it lights up.
Yep.
And you're like, and the hounds once again.
I love how frozen the hound is. Just like seeing the sword light on fire and everything. I was like, yes, this makes perfect sense.
Okay. Once again,
we did have the one-liner that we missed where was it Thors or Beric that was like, "Oh, you've both been kissed by fire." Talking to Tormund and the Hound, because the Hound was at his
burned
face.
and right.
And so a little subtle way of throwing his backstory into it.
I'm telling you, it more and more like makes me feel like there's some weird prophecy for the Hound. Like I was talking about the Azor Ahai stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's something there. At some point, he's going to get over his fear of the flame. For some reason. All right.
Probably to die a very heroic death. But
what do we know about Azor Ahai? He had to put his sword through his wife heart to forge Lightbringer, right?
Yes.
Barrick hasn't had to do any of that type of shit.
No.
So as far as we know, Lightbringer he's toting around is just horseshit. It's just a flaming sword.
Well, it's not even a flaming sword. It's something he does to somehow make it flaming.
Agreed. All right. But are we going to see a Lightbringer legitimately?
I doubt it.
Well,
I'm just saying I doubt it.
it could potentially be Longclaw. Just later on in the episode, there's a really cool scene with the pommel.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. We'll talk about it in a minute. That's BS, by the way.
Oh, it is.
This is glorified BS.
I know what you're talking about, but I'm just saying, the Hound. They're just
Like, it's tough for me to say, like, who's the Hound love? Wine? Like, I mean, like, who's he gonna have to kill that he would actually like? The only person is Arya, maybe.
But are they only keeping the Hound around to fight the Mountain? Is that his only
We
future?
hope so.
I mean, I think his only thing is fan service at this point.
But why is he allowed to see things in the flames?
Fan service. Like, I mean, I got nothing.
I don't know. I'm with you. I think there's something more to it.
Something to it, man. I'm telling you. There's
What it
something.
is, I don't know. I mean, it's like the people who survived this, they all had a purpose. And that was brought out. I mean, even Barrick was like, there's a reason we're here. There's a reason we're still fighting for living. There's a reason, da-da-da. And think about this. I mean, Tormund, like you said, kissed by fire. And like, you know, think about how he almost died, being pulled into the water to drown. I mean, it's like symbolism. You know, I mean, there's a lot going on there. You know, so I'm with you. I think there is something very important here. I just not real positive. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to be. I'm just saying I feel like some of it's biased because I love the Hound. It's my favorite character. It's like I want him to have a storyline that fits in with the great
overall
storyline.
arc, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense. It's not just he's getting kept around because he's a great actor and it makes sense for the show.
Right. I agree. I just don't want that. I want him to have a big role. And they keep showing him terrified of the fire and stuff like that. I mean, it's like a constant thing.
Yeah, like even when he was telling Songs of the Story, like he was petrified as he was telling the story. So, I mean, this is a real significant thing that he has to overcome or it's going to get him killed.
Yeah.
So, Thoros, being brave, you know, puts this sword in the bear's mouth. This cool-ass scene going back and forth.
First, he hits it with the flaming sword, and it goes up like kindling.
Right.
Like we have always seen. So at least it's consistent. Anything that's a white goes up like
Woof.
like it's gasoline, which was awesome.
It was.
Because it's flaming. I get it knocks the Hound away.
It knocks the Hound
first.
away. And also, Tormund went to hit it and jacked him up, too.
Right.
And so that was cool.
But you're right, though. Thoros holding. I was waiting for the blade to start slicing
Going through his hand, yeah.
Yeah, because that's a ton of weight pushing down.
Yeah, you don't have a hand at that point. Like, I mean, a melted sword, it's like butter. Knife through butter right there.
That's the thing. It's his sword's on fire most of the time. So
Correct.
that thing is really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll give it the thing that they're wearing lots of hand wraps and gloves and stuff. It's like the only thing I'll give it is the fact that they're probably wearing such thickness on their hands.
Right.
But it's so cool to see it.
It really was.
And anytime you get a badass bear mauling scene, I mean, if you've never seen The Edge, which is just fantastic, you know, but there's this poor black guy in that movie with little dreads. He gets a horrific death. Horrific.
It almost reminds me of DiCaprio when he got
The
attacked
Revenant.
in The Revenant. I mean,
Okay, The Revenant was amazing. That bear
my God.
attack is
Yes.
so realistic. But The Edge,
yes, it was
It's-
gruesome.
terrible. I mean, it's awful what happens to this man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love any of the bear attack scenes. And if
Yes.
they're done this well, I'm like, fan thumbs up. Because that's so hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
And make it look good.
I mean, this blew the Revenant out of the water. And, like, that was so perfectly done.
I think they had a couple advantages. The fact that they had a
lot of
white
snow,
polar bear
yeah.
up against a white
No, that
background.
it was a blizzard going through there,
Yeah.
so it blurs your vision of details.
And then we were so focused on the blue eyes and then the flame and everything.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
And the Revenant was a crystal clear bear attack.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult.
Oh,
Yeah.
and like it was throwing DiCaprio around the screen
yeah,
and everything.
the
And this is
Revenant was more of a monumental achievement. First time, da-da-da. This right here was like, let me put icing on top of that and make
Yeah.
it look a little cooler.
I appreciate y'all finding the technology that we needed to make
We're going
this.
to borrow it and make it look cooler. Yes.
We weren't going to have ice bears unless this came out.
Exactly. So they finally do, and then they kill the bear, and then we get the shot of them realizing that one guy's dead, and they look over here and they pan over, and you see some blood in the ground, and a guy evidently has been taken away. But did y'all notice the paw prints were wrong?
no.
They were walking towards where the blood was, and then that's it. So are we to say that this bear walked up, grabbed it, and like moonwalked into the back same
I thought I
steps?
saw them go beyond the blood.
Uh-uh.
But
went
I
back-
mean, bears will back up and stuff like that.
I mean,
so
perfect handprints. I mean, my man.
Like
a zombie.
ghost. I'm a ghost.
You don't see me. You don't see me.
White shadow. Yeah, nah, whatever. man.
Yeah, it's small detail.
I
small
know,
detail.
but I refuse.
And I'll be honest with you. I thought the paw prints were small because like they showed like the snow messed up where the blood was, like this, like a person like that. I thought the paws were a little small.
they
for that.
probably were.
But there's no reference.
I know.
That blood stain could be the size of your coffee table, and those footprints are the size of a laptop.
Yeah.
It's like, I just can't tell because there's not a size chart.
Yeah.
Well, there's not a chunk of him or a corpse left behind.
oh, it's a small Toyota. Gotcha.
When you put a Godzilla footprint in just an open, muddy area, and then zoom out, it's like, oh, well, that don't look that big.
Right.
Then you put a school bus next to it, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh,
Oh.
shit.
Then the hound's laying down inside of the paw print. We're like, oh, it's a
Yeah.
pretty big
All
paw
right.
print.
All right. Justified. That's right.
But we do know that there's one more ice bear still out there.
Yes.
Correct. So we do cut away and we get back over to Winterfell, and this is
Well,
the
have
dra-
we tried to heal Thoros?
Don't forget Thoros gets
Yeah, I
healed.
forgot about that. The
Which
guy had
also-
some. I thought his wounds in his chest might be worse, as bad as he was like being bit into and spun and around. And
Here's my thing.
I mean, he had
I
four
never-
layers of wool.
I never thought that this attack version would be that terrible. You look at an animal's mouth and
It
its
had broken
blunted face, right? If it's trying to bite down onto you, it really can't grab much on your flat chest.
Yeah.
It could grab its fur and it's picking them up and slinging them around and stuff.
It's like, unless you got like a massive belly, it's got nothing to actually grip into.
Right. But the thing about the Revenant was it's turning its head, and
Yes.
biting them, grabbing a leg and throwing him. It's clawing him.
Yeah, like the
and stuff like that.
This was
This
just
thing
a
was
snout.
strictly grabbing his chest, picking him up a little bit, slamming him, throwing him around a little bit. So the wounds, to me, wouldn't seem to be that
But not
terrible.
only that, if you looked at the polar bear, all of its big teeth were broken. Did y'all notice that? Like they were all broke at different points and stuff like that.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me, but I'm just saying, I've never understood why that is such a devastating thing. Now you see a wolf, their teeth kind of like
Yes.
protrude a little bit, and it's like, oh, okay, if that thing bites you
You're
head
screwed.
first, or a hyena, you know what I'm saying?
It's
like
gripping.
it's going to tear you apart, like a beak on a bird or something.
Ooh.
So I'm just like, okay, that makes sense to me. But you watch a lion, they turn their head and they bite
do.
the hell out of you. At this part, I was just like, okay, well, yeah, it would probably be horrible. You know what I mean? But I just can't imagine the wounds being too bad.
Right.
Then we get the great double pull on the old wine
Yeah.
flask there. They're like trying to pull it away. He's like, oh no, boys. We're
Okay.
full tilt.
We had a good Facebook post about this from Kelly Choi. Is that her name?
Right.
Okay, and she's talking about how it's a trope to cauterize the wounds after somebody takes a swig, and it's immediate.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I took a shot. I don't feel a thing.
Yeah.
You know
Good
what
to
I
go,
mean?
boys.
No, it takes some time before you're buzzed.
Yeah.
For this. The only thing I could say is Thoros has been drinking the entire time.
Yeah. I mean,
He's maintaining his bone.
yeah. He was just making sure it didn't go away at that point. In
This
time.
is going to suck for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and get one in.
But while he's drinking that, did y'all just think that was a goodbye drink? Like he was about to die right then? I was surprised they cauterized him.
Be honest with you, when they lifted his shirt up, I saw like very superficial wounds. I mean, there was one little spot that was bleeding like that, but I didn't see anything that was like, that's a death blow.
But it was one of those gross blood's pourings that's like a bullet hole.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where it's like pooling and then running.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But also, like, wouldn't it just kind of freeze and just kind of scab over right there? Like, I mean, I'm not a medical expert or anything, but I would think with it being that cold, it's going to be hard to...
I don't know. I mean, you still got some hot blood pouring out of you there for a second at least.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I have no... I'm just legitimately curious if anybody doesn't... If anyone out there does know, if you start bleeding out in the...
I mean, in the frozen tundra, is it better to try to let it freeze or something like that?
Yeah, just roll over on your chest. Just freeze it up, bro.
Yeah, he'll be good. Throw some ice on it. Like, he'll be good to go. Old football injury.
I'm going to doubt it, considering your body temperature is 90-something, 98 or whatever like that. Okay. Even if you're in I mean, anything that's not going to freeze to you unless you're frozen, of the temperature.
I don't know. I've been outside where it's been pretty cold, and pee freezes pretty quickly.
Agreed. No, I agree with you, Cash, but it's still like...
Yeah, it's pumping out and everything. Like,
Right.
But the thing is, he burns them immediately.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, let me slice my hand real quick and...
light you up. Yeah.
Yeah, this would be awful.
Yeah.
All right, the next part is the part that I loathed of most of the episode, is Winterfell. Is that I'm just scratching my head. It's all right. This is where now all of a sudden Sansa is seeking counsel from Littlefinger about this, and we come up with the idea of, well, Brienne is loyal to you, and if Arya's trying to hurt you, Brienne can handle this, and blah 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 blah.
I didn't understand what he was trying to say at all in any of this.
So I've had a couple people I talked to that complain about this storyline between Arya and Sansa.
Can I be one of them?
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. But my thing is, what have we always, or at least I know for sure I have always suggested that...
Littlefinger caused chaos.
Right, but that there's a third party, and it's Bran.
Yes.
Okay? And that we're not aware of what Arya has learned from Bran, or possibly Sansa has learned from Bran.
So you're saying they could just kind of be...
I'm not suggesting that they're playing a game with Littlefinger.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting that. But let's think about what Littlefinger tells her. That Brienne is sworn to protect you both,
yes,
and that she would intervene if Arya was going to try to hurt you. He is telling Sansa, keep Brienne close.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Right? So what does she do in the next scene, though?
She sends Brienne
away. And Pod. So it's like, is Sansa doing that because she wants to send a message to Arya, I'm not afraid of you?
That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense at all.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. So it's like...
But what is it?
I mean, I put it out on Twitter, is that I believe there's a bigger ruse here. I think not so much that they know exactly what Littlefinger's doing, but they know Littlefinger's up to, and that they're playing their part to see where it goes.
Right. I think both separately are playing a different game with Littlefinger. Okay. I think Sansa knows that Littlefinger never asks you to do anything without getting something in return.
Yeah, there's an alternative
so it's like, oh, Littlefinger told me I should keep Brienne around. Send her away then.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Arya finds this note. You know what I mean? It's like...
Brienne doesn't like Littlefinger, so like... And Sansa knows that.
I agree with you, but it's still...
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're trying to say and everything, but like it just... When you sit down and think about it, there's just zero positive in sending Brienne away.
Right. I think Sansa's doing more of a thing with Littlefinger than Arya is.
Well, I hope so.
Because Arya, we can go and finish the scenes out, right? Sansa goes into her room, finds the masks.
Yeah,
the
Walter
faces.
Frey and some other dude.
Anyway,
so was it Walter Frey? Like, I thought it was.
It was Walter Frey.
But the fact that Sansa doesn't recognize... Well, would she not recognize Walter Frey?
Yeah, she's never been to the twins.
Yeah, she never went.
Okay.
But anyway, then Arya comes in and explains, what she's capable of, kind of. Flips the knife up, gives it to Sansa, and turns her back on her. Once again, showing, I'm not afraid of you. I don't think you'll kill me, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? They're both playing some kind of game. We just don't understand it all yet.
Well, like you said, we send Brienne away because that's the exact opposite of what Littlefinger suggested. Mm-hmm. So that's key fact number one. If we really believe that Arya suspects Sansa as being a traitor and turncoat, then she doesn't go in there and give her the dagger and turn around. Key fact number 2.
Well, and the thing is, she's playing the game of lies
Right.
with her. Mm-hmm. I mean, we know Arya is like the waif now.
Yes.
Human lie detector. As soon as Sansa starts turning it around on her and stuff like that, and, obviously is not lying, I think Arya realizes she's not lying. She's not lying about the note and everything like that, and that she's loyal and would never do anything to cross Jon and stuff like that. I feel like she realizes that.
Yeah, and another thing is, too, is that we saw Arya watching Littlefinger talking to the maidens and talking to this and creating like that. So you have to believe that whatever she finds or thinks or goes on, that she has to know there's something to it. And that's part of it. And that's the initial evidence. And then, like you said, this episode brings so much more to it. I'm going to be honest with you. If it's not, and we're actually supposed to take this at face value, that they're all this, that, I'm going to be pissed.
No. I feel like the show wants you to think that Arya is possibly plotting to kill Sansa.
At no point in time in feeling this.
But I'm just like, there's no way.
It's just not coming out right to me.
Well, I mean, none of this is because
Or maybe it's coming out just right and we don't have all the answers yet.
I don't know. Well,
there's a lot wrong with this because there's no way that she should have that note. Like with Sansa's handwriting, because Robb had it back in season 1 when he was invading and he showed it to Catelyn. So there's no way that this note is actually in Winterfell.
I think the note went to Winterfell.
I think the note went to Winterfell and then they sent it to Robb.
Yeah, and Robb has the one with Sansa's
But
handwriting.
he said the Maester made a copy of everything.
In Sansa's handwriting?
True that.
And on the same paper?
I don't remember when.
He shows it back in season 1 because they were getting ready to they just captured Jaime or getting ready to capture Jaime. And he's like, I want to show you this. It's Sansa's word. And Caitlyn goes, you mean Cersei's words. And immediately dismisses. And there was another Northern Lord who Jon showed it to. And it was like, no, those are Cersei's words. So Northern Lords are already going to dismiss the fact that Sansa didn't write this letter.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing to worry about. And so like we've already been through this ruse. And it's like, why are we going through it again?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I feel like even if she did write a note, that they would send it to Winterfell.
Well, yeah, no, they got to Winterfell and everything, and Robb took it with him.
Well, I got news for you. Having an art background, you can trace things.
I mean, I'm not saying you can't trace things and everything, but like
no,
back then using the same sheet of paper and everything.
I know. I hear you. I
don't remember, Cash. You're probably totally right. I just don't remember.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, there's a whole video on this, and like, I don't want to delve that deep into it, but it was like, there's no way they actually have the actual letter back in Winterfell.
Right? Okay, all right, I'll go with that. All right, but
and so like, and part of the thing that made this episode so bad for me is just like they're taking away everything that they've written back in seasons 1 and 2, and they're making it irrelevant. They're casting away everything that they've worked towards, and it's just like, why?
I wouldn't say everything.
I mean,
there's some
the
stuff.
small intricacies.
They're being selective
like
with chunks. There's no doubt.
I mean, that's a big deal of what the show is, though, to me at least.
I got you.
And that's why I'm very harsh on this.
Are we surprised we didn't even see Bran this episode?
No, because like I said,
because he can explain everything away.
They're saving him for the final bit. I
All
swear.
right, are we going to get Bran next episode?
Yes.
All right, let me ask you this: is Winterfell going to have a conclusion of this arc next episode?
Yes, definitely. Littlefinger dies next episode, I think.
Yeah, it's just you can't show Bran because then he explains everything, and so that's what makes his character so difficult. As soon as you bring him in, there are no more plot twists.
Okay. All right. Well,
and like that's what makes him such a difficult character.
I'm with you. I mean, I think we've got to. If we got 80 minutes the next episode, we've got to have a conclusion at Winterfell.
And here's the thing too. What's his name? Raymar Royce or whatever.
Yeah. It's something Royce.
Leader of the Vale Army.
Right.
If Bran talks to him and says what some of the things that have gone on.
How about that he pushed the lady into the moon door?
Exactly. Any of these things, if Bran can communicate that to him.
If Bran talks to anybody, like the show ends. Like
you might literally get a scene almost just like what happened to Ned, what Littlefinger did to him. You know what I'm saying? Where you lead him into a scene thinking that everything is going up, And then you walk into a courtyard and you're surrounded by.
Okay, we've already had a scene where Bran looks at Littlefinger and lets him know he knows something that was said in confidence that no one else heard.
Yes.
And Littlefinger has done nothing about it, knowing that he has to understand that this guy is the greatest liability to everything he's done. And we've gone how many episodes, and Littlefinger has done nothing.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Chaos is a ladder is what he said.
To Littlefinger.
No, to
Littlefinger said it to Varys.
To Varys in the throne room. Mm-hmm. There's no,
weirwood, nothing.
Weirwood trees in there. You know what I'm saying? So he knows something about Littlefinger that
nobody.
That you shouldn't know.
No.
So it's like, okay, so there's some. He can know anything. Then is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that statement right there
with his power. Like the reason why Jake brings up the weirwood is because he's only supposed to be able to see things that the weirwood trees with their eyes can see.
Correct. Within proximity.
If the weirwood has a face, he can see it. Or if there's ravens, he can see with them. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of the thing. But
in the show, he just sees everything.
Right.
Tower of Joy,
yep.
No weirwood tree, he sees that too. So it's like, okay, well then.
Fast and loose.
Yep.
He could see it.
Fast and loose. All right, so we agree. We've got to have a conclusion to that. Y'all two say that Littlefinger dies next episode. What shall see?
Would it be upsetting that Littlefinger and Varys never see each other again?
Yes, because
they're disappointing.
Together. And or Littlefinger and Tyrion.
But who would have the most satisfying? Who would be the most satisfying person to watch kill Littlefinger?
Well, I'm trying to think of, would we go with a beheading? Because I mean that's what it is up in the north. And then who would swing the sword?
Yeah, because I hate to tell you, now that Brienne's gone, that's kind of like.
Nothing against Sansa, but I don't see her having the strength to chop off someone's head.
It goes back to Royce, I guess.
See, this I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who's the most satisfying killer of Littlefinger?
And then it's got to be Arya.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The top choice has got to be Arya.
Does she steal his face and go down to King's Landing? And that's a way to keep the actor.
No, that's what I hope happens. I hope Sansa.
That's her Dorian.
Sansa comes around and and tells Arya, kill his ass, steal his face, and let's use it to our advantage.
Yeah.
And get Sansa on our side. You know what I'm saying? Like, Sansa is smart.
Oh yeah.
It's just you gotta play it right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a way that you said maybe they're talking to Bran off screen and everything, and he's like, "Look, this is something we can do if you're okay with it, Sansa," because maybe she still just doesn't want to kill Littlefinger yet, because as you said, Zach, that she's wanting to know what his grand plan is. And she doesn't want to let him die without fully understanding the ramifications of him dying.
Correct.
Well, the thing of it is, if Royce doesn't find out about what Littlefinger's past, Littlefinger does control the army. So he can't kill Littlefinger, because then Sansa does exactly what she doesn't want to do, loses men.
And also, there's potentially he's had salt and bread. You can't kill somebody in your own house. Yes, like the phrase and everything pooped all over.
Arya doesn't follow that code.
I don't think Arya gives a shit.
All right, well, you just put up a point. Well, let's put it this way. Here's a hypothetical. We Sansa and Arya basically leave Littlefinger into a situation where we're calling bullshit. We know what you're doing, and they kill him, and then you see Littlefinger walk out, and you realize that Arya is taking his place, and Winterfell. And that's what gives you the lead of how things are going.
Yeah.
That would be a cool-ass way to wrap up next episode.
Exactly. That's what I want. I want Arya to be able to come out as Littlefinger and still control the Men of the Vale.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And keep that power.
That's important.
And then just be like,
I've got to leave.
I have to leave.
Deuces. Got 2-9 out, boys.
And the only thing that would be cool about that is if Bran's right there and he'd be like, bye, Arya.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be a cool little send-off scene.
But also... Sweet. Still upset with Sansa trying to play the Knights came out. Jon didn't win the Battle of the Bastards and stuff. I'm like, no, Sansa, if you would have told Jon that you had those troops of the Vale, it's a completely different battle.
Yeah.
It was like
it's a game changer. We don't lose half our forces into a giant pile of dead men.
And it was like, oh yeah.
The nastiest dog pile ever.
You're conveniently mentioning that you let your little brother die. You were perfectly okay with letting him.
He just had to zig instead of zag, and he'd been fine.
Yeah.
There was so much. And then I just wanted Arya to be like, hey, you remember the phrase? oh yeah, I murdered them all.
Yeah.
That's why they're no longer a thing.
50.
It was like, oh, you've done so much, Sansa. I killed the phrase. And I gave a badass speech.
All right, let's get back into the snow area. This is where we get to see the first line of the guys walking again after we've lost 2 guys to the bear attack. Mm-hmm. Sadly, there's 9 people on the line. Okay.
But should be 11 based on what Cash said he saw 13.
Well, if he saw, we started with 10. Then
we
suddenly we saw a fluff to 13.
Yep.
Then we have 13. We have 2 gone. So technically it could be 11. But then if it wasn't 11, it was a snafu, and it was 10, it should be 8. But then we got 9, which is completely different random.
Yeah.
So there's no telling how many we had. For all we know, there's one sleeping on the sled, and they were dragging him. Who knows? But anyway, so they come up there, and they hear something. Tormund's like, they get up there and look. And, of course, like we said last episode, all the dead travel together in this giant horde. But, of course, Game of Thrones, we have one random dispatch that's just small enough that this group can handle with one white leading them.
No, one White Walker, not white.
One White Walker with like 9 or 10 whites.
But I will say this, though. That's not always the case. The whole army doesn't travel together. We've seen things with the Fist of the First Men. Scouting parties are
exactly.
like
they're actually kind of smart. Like,
small quarrels.
Well, the only thing I like about this is they made it. They see this group coming. I almost wish that they had reversed the order of editing, like that they had created the fire, hear something, go up there, and this is a small scouting party that's coming to check out the fire.
That would have made a lot.
That would have been
sense.
a better order of appearance when it came to this scene. Instead, we get these guys walking, and suddenly they went down there, created a fire which had ash and half-cooked logs already. Where in the F did they find these trees to make this?
Okay, there's thoughts that this could be Benjen's fire, but Benjen doesn't need fire.
No.
So I'm going to say no.
Womp, womp, womp.
But I've heard a few people say that this was the first clue that Benjen might be around before he shows up later on. I call horseshit on it as well.
I call straight horseshit on that.
But my thing is, passage of time in this episode is
thrown out the window.
Very fast.
Thrown out the window. What time?
They see the scouting party. They go back a little ways, light a fire. Maybe 4 hours before that thing gets there.
They're playing with like time is a made up concept that we've all done.
Yeah,
and
we don't know.
Yeah.
As far as we know, at the end of the Game of Thrones, literally series finale, Bran wakes up in his bed.
Look, there's been talks that this is going to be lost, and if it is, I say we all just go to HBO studios and riot.
Nothing spoiler about that whatsoever.
Like,
I mean, if Bran wakes up in his bed, after being
with the old woman talking about the stories of the Night White Walker.
Nan has not been wrong about a single thing yet.
Yeah, it's the biggest nightmare I have.
We fly out to HBO headquarters and we just riot. We just set the whole place on fire.
D&D better run.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even make it in time. They would already be burned to the ground before.
They would already have their head on the spike outside HBO.
I will clap for D&D for having the balls to double down on that. But how dare they for having said balls?
Whatever.
But yeah, like if that happens, I'm done.
Okay, so they come down, they look at the fire, the White Walker staring at it a little bit, and all of a sudden, our war party comes out, coming at it, okay?
Yeah.
Now,
speaking of tropes,
yes.
You don't scream before you attack.
No.
You just run in and kill him.
Only if you don't have the numbers are you screaming.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only time.
All right, I'm going to tell you something else that bothered me right here. I was really upset that we only had 2 people with dragon glass weapons.
Oh, Jorah is a ninja right now.
Jorah has 2 dragon glass, like, long knives or daggers. And Tormund has a dragon glass, like, homemade axe. That was the only 2 people who had dragon glass weapons. The rest of them had normal swords.
Tormund has a battle axe and then a small dragon glass axe.
Right. Well, in his main fight scenes, he hits that bear with his axe and gets thrown.
Yeah.
And then for the rest of the episode, he's got his dragon glass axe, or whatever you want to call it, because it's homemade. I mean, it's straight, looks like a bat with like glass stuck in it.
But Thor's and Beric don't need it because they
have flaming swords. and so on. But the rest of the guys have got normal steel weapons.
Well, and John doesn't need it.
Yeah,
he's got a
'cause he's got
Valerian
Valerian
sword.
steel.
Right. And then, of course, you got Gendry has got the Warhammer.
Well, I mean, there's no reason for his
The
weapon to work.
sledgehammer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
So anyway, I was just kind of disappointed that I didn't see more people with like true dragon glass. And they know that's the key weapon.
Well, they
minus
didn't really
the
have
Valerian
time to shape it into weapons either.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Jorah was whipping those things around like he was a badass.
I mean, we saw Jorah in the fighting pits. Not that impressive.
No.
You know, we saw him.
He should have had the 2 hand daggers a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been nice. If this was
His skill?
Dario and
That
he
would've
was
made
using
sense.
dragon glass, it's like, oh, this is perfect.
Because Dario actually did have 2 little daggers. That
2
he
daggers.
actually-
That was his weapons. So it's like, oh, Jorah. Nah.
Yeah.
Where's
Well-
your dragon glass, longsword?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he picked up dual daggers because of Dario. It's like, hey, maybe this is the way into
I
Dany's
thought
heart.
his fighting was fun to watch.
It was.
That's what I'm thinking about.
But
it.
we just haven't seen him.
right.
do
We never
this.
seen that skill set.
Now, he learned a lot, remember, from fighting a Dothraki. He's like, you're slow, you're in armor.
Yeah.
He almost died from that.
Well, but I mean, that's like he.
But
let
the armor also saved him.
Yeah, it was like that was how he was a trained knight. Like you let your armor take the hits, and then you come back, and then you attack.
Right.
And so here he's now all of a sudden.
Whatever.
dual- yeah.
I like seeing it.
Right.
It's fun.
It worked. It looked cool.
So we take out a few of them, and this next part pissed me off from Roll is that there's 10 whites out there. John kills the main White Walker in very similar fashion as he did the last one, like that, and they all fall but one.
yeah.
And I was like, "Are you effing kidding me, man?"
So
Well, it would
All
have been
but
fine.
one,
They should just let 3 still be alive.
right?
We only need 1. And then have the Hound tear a head off one of them and Tormund tackle one and,
Right.
bash it.
It was awful that this one didn't do it.
Yeah, that was just silly writing.
yeah.
And then here's another thing is that of all of them, when they were fighting them, they were all CG bones. And when he killed that one, they're all like turned into a pile of bones.
Yeah.
This guy has the most flesh, and you can tell it's a human actor with everything on it.
Yeah.
Which I understand why. I get that.
I still love how much they abuse this thing
Oh yeah.
throughout the episode.
kept kicking it in the head.
Put it on a dragon spike.
like-
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty.
There's a lot of
fun
comedy
stuff.
thrown in with it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like the Hound rips off his jaw or something, or he's like trying to shut it up, and like
Yeah,
tears-
yeah. Just tears his bottom jaw.
Yeah,
Like,
he's just
"Oh,
like-
son of a-"
It's like great. And it's still screaming, and I was like, yes.
Right. Well, then, of course, this guy is squealing before they run off that alerts the war party from hell.
Well, Night's Watch has their horn, and these guys have screamers.
Yes.
That's the scouters. We want the best voices out there.
All right, everyone lined up. Who can scream?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely part of the party.
yeah. American Idol for the front lines.
Right. All right. So John looks at Gendry and says, "Run.
Well,
Go."
apparently, off camera, we had time trials to see who the fastest person was.
No, he just looked at the youngest person.
Yeah, it was the youngest of the crowd, and of course, he needs to survive for whatever reason. We'll find out later. But
Blacksmithing is my best bet.
yeah, I'm with you on that. I really am. And so he just tells him, "Leave it. Go. Run."
Complete BS.
Right.
Yeah, Tormund takes the hammer. He's like,
You're faster without it.
faster without this thing.
And I mean, like, the only thing missing was white and red Nikes and a red cap and people
Running.
cheering down Alabama streets. You know what I mean? I'm just putting it out there.
All right.
I mean, there was memes galore about,
Yeah.
this is Gendry and Forrest Run.
We're going to get into this time distance
Oh,
stuff
this is where it starts
very
to get
soon.
really bad.
But
very soon. The
even-
island is the key to this.
Even before the time and everything, how in the hell does he know how to get back to the wall? They've been walking for God knows how long.
Oh, just follow the tracks, and then
You
you'll
know,
see
the blizzard out there.
polar bear. No, there's only a blizzard really when you get near the whites, the White Walkers and stuff. The rest
Okay.
of it's just snow covered. Because if you see sunlight and
We
stuff,
could,
they're wandering.
I mean, we
around.
could say that, but then there was that time when John was out beyond the wall and he had a captive and completely lost.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, there's
It's
no
not
way.
That's not the part that bothers me.
That's it.
Yeah.
It really
Well,
should.
you know. Okay.
Because there's zero way that Gendry knows.
All right, so they throw the white on their shoulder and start to run, and I
In
mean
the
like
opposite direction.
sprinting.
Yeah.
Opposite direction.
And poor Barracks back there trying to drag Thoros around.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, oh
And
man.
of course, what's crazy about that is that out of all those 8 guys, okay, should be 8, okay, because in this
Not
scene,
8, but it should be
it
8.
should be 8. All right, as they're running, one gets clipped.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
One gets
we should be
taken over.
down to the Magnificent 7 minus Gendry. So Gendry left though,
yeah.
so we should be down to
Magnificent 6.
Magnificent 6. However, when we get to the island, 2 more guys
more
appear
deaths.
and die. I'm like, what the fuck?
And Cash is right. They look exactly the same.
Yeah,
I mean-
like it looks like they died the exact same way as well. Like I
It's
think
like-
they just
Evidently, what do you call it? Thoros brought them back. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
Y'all forgot. We had him there. While he was drinking on the side, creating the fire 4 hours ago, you know, he brought a couple guys back with him, you know.
Yeah, no, this is ridiculous. This is the cameo I would have liked. Yeah,
yeah.
I'd like to play all 7 men that died.
Just dress me differently. I'll be all right.
Yeah. I had the same beard and same hair, but it's fine.
yeah.
Yeah,
We get to a
once
giant.
again.
We get to a giant lake.
Right. Okay. So they're running. Okay. They get to it. They realize we can't just stay here.
Hold on, though. This is my biggest BS moment of the
Oh
episode.
no. I'll trump it later. Trust me.
I mean, other than the fucking chains. We'll get there. But they step, all 8 of them,
Yes.
Yes.
step onto the ice, and it immediately starts splitting.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. This thing has been so cold for so long.
And they're like, don't move. And they're like, oh, screw it. We got to run.
Yeah.
So they start running.
And it
As soon as 100 whites stepped onto this thing, it should have just collapsed.
Right. Instead of
Immediately.
going another 50 yards before it finally folds.
Yeah. It was horseshit.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was awful.
Well, the fact that it cracked at first is horseshit, in my opinion. But
I
then-
agree.
I agree. It should have been like 4 foot of ice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, that's crap.
It's absolute dog shit.
They could have been playing some hockey on this bad
Oh
boy.
yeah, like-
Easy.
And so when they do start running, they are in full gallop, and the dead are outrunning them.
Oh,
like it's like
around-
Usain Bolt's going
yeah.
around the lake the opposite way.
They should outrun them. We've seen those things run in the
move.
cave. They move like ants.
But then we also have that problem of how have they not reached the wall yet? Like we see how fast they are.
Once again, you're just confused.
They're making the leisure route.
Okay.
The leisure route. They don't like going up
Yeah.
on hills.
Have y'all seen the
Scenic route.
Have y'all seen the map of how much John has traveled?
Oh yes, I saw that guy. That guy created that map. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
And then they do a White Walker straight line.
Yeah,
and it's
it's
just
just-
like they've gone this far. John's gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But yeah, so
okay. So
yeah,
then
they run to the island.
Yeah. Complete circle. Okay, I'm okay with that.
Right.
surrounded.
I actually thought it was cool that they're,
Little bit of
out
strategy.
clipping them
Yeah.
all the way around. So they're flanking them. I was like, cool. They are screwed.
Yeah.
Now that the water has sunk in around them too, they're double screwed. You can't get past them now.
No. Cool. It was a cool shot to see all of them fall in the water. I thought that was
Okay,
pretty
yeah.
neat. Again, I just hate that we had like half-inch ice right there where these guys ran across it just fine. And then the rest of them fell through. But anyway,
When they stepped on the bank ice and it all just shatters underneath their feet, okay. As soon as all these guys step on the ice, that thing ought to just cave in.
Oh,
yeah.
It just
It
be
shouldn't
awful.
it shouldn't have a small section that folds in, and the rest of the thousands on the ice that they ran across should be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole lake should be in
Manure.
Yeah.
So, but they get to the island. I think, you know what? This is a badass set piece.
It is.
It is.
It is.
You think about all the CG and then the extras that they use to fill in gaps and stuff. And I was like, man, this is super wicked badass. But we already knew this plan was so stupid from the
Yes.
get-go. So we're just like, now what?
I do want to pat myself on the back for predicting that a rescue party was going to have to come in and take care of this business, as well as I predicted, Benjamin coming in. So I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there. You know,
It's like saying, I'm glad I predicted they're going to kick a field goal as the clock was expiring. Good job.
yeah. Okay.
I'm glad you went out on a limb.
Look, I didn't tear my rotator cuff patting my shoulder.
He's gonna make this extra point. You wait. You wait. You'll see.
After this time,
Blow it out your ass. I don't want to hear it. Okay. But anyway, you're right. They're all sitting there now. I did like that they're all just staring and standing there. You know, I thought that was kind of neat. It was like they're all standing up with their swords and ready and like that. And we had that wait game, but they needed the waiting game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have either one of y'all ever seen the video of the dean? I believe it is. It's a woman at a university, and she leaves her home, and there's all the students outside. Have you ever seen this?
No.
And they're absolutely silent, but they have flooded the street, her yard, the sidewalk, everything. She has to walk through a simple path that they leave for her to get to her car.
This sounds terrifying.
And they're absolutely silent. I mean, you could hear a pin drop easy, and they're just all staring at her because she did some shady shit about some stuff that was going on campus.
Wow.
That sounds like the most terrifying thing.
Yeah, no.
If you get a chance, watch it. It is
What's it called? Just
the
like-
best protest I have ever seen.
Is it on YouTube? Or?
Oh, yeah. It's all over the internet.
So you
But-
just type in like president or dean?
It's like university dean leaves silent protest outside, something like
Okay.
that. Oh,
Okay.
my God. It is mortifying.
We'll
Dude.
post it for all y'all fans
Oh,
out
my
there.
Lord.
We got
So,
you.
yeah, she just
I think I'd
walks
have
out.
something running down my leg as I walked out.
And it's just silent. And all it is the little path that, from the front of her house, sidewalk to the edge of the road where her car is. And it's just flooded with students. And they're just
Like,
dead silent.
Wow.
that-
I mean, silence was deafening. Put it that way. It's nuts.
Oof.
oh, I got chills.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so
that's,
wicked. But this scene reminded
Yeah.
me of it. They're dead. They're not speaking. Even the White Walkers don't speak. You know what I mean? It's like, I just like, man, this is just so eerie.
Oof.
No, it was it was perfectly done. And then we get Gendry finally making it to the wall.
How about that he makes it like 17 feet from the door and collapses? I mean, are we to say that
That's how it happens.
Hey, we need our man Davos to come out and make a
big bold
yeah.
statement?
Yeah, Davos needed to
Give me a raven!
Give me a raven.
Which I'm not sure, like, why that. Maybe the raven was pre-sent, and like we're just kind of.
Oh, no,
saying
he was actually on the landing strip fueling up.
No,
Yeah.
he was saying we have to send a raven, and Davos screamed, "Get me the maester."
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Right. Well, the maester was fueling up the raven. Yes.
And so
We got a hot shot in this one right here.
10, 9, 8.
we see him like his wings are bringing the goggles down.
Yeah,
over
really.
his eyes.
You got the guys with the orange coming out there,
Yeah.
moving it this way. Clear. Danger zone. There it is.
The need for speed.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me his eyes.
Yeah, this ain't Goose. It's Raven. Fuck Goose. I'm Raven.
All right, there it is. Oh, all right, so by this time we realized we were on the island and we've been there a long effing time because we're all pretty close and cuddled. And Hound's like leaned his head on John.
Okay, so somebody did the math. All right,
Okay.
Of how fast everything had to fly.
a bird flies.
Oh yeah.
As a crow flies
That's the crow flies.
to Dragonstone, right? 4 days is what they're saying it would take to get there, get back, and then Danny to get back with the dragon.
Well, for Danny to get back flying, she
Right.
would have to fly to get there in 6 hours. 480 miles per hour. It's 2,000 miles.
yeah, it would peel her skin right off her face.
I would tell you, her hair would not be perfect.
Yeah, it was all frizzed, you know.
I'm just saying, okay. So the guy did the math.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. And he was saying 4 days would have need to have passed at minimum for Danny to be able to get back and save them, right? Mm-hmm. All we saw was 1 night passage of time. But they were trying to show you that they were there for a long time.
Right. You know,
But-
the funny thing is this episode, it just dawned on me, and I wrote it in my notes and everything like that, is that back with Sansa, she looks at Brienne and goes, it's a real long journey to King's Landing.
Yeah.
You know,
And you're not
especially not on
traveling
these summer roads and da 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 da. I'm like, not on these carriages, baby.
There's a zone.
Yeah, really.
Like I would have just been, if I'm Brienne, I'd be like, yeah, let me just get Littlefinger's carriage. Like
Yeah,
I'll
really.
be there. Boom, we got this.
By lunch.
You ever seen that bullet train that Littlefinger rides? This shit is nice.
Right by the fingers.
Heated seats, like good to go.
Let me introduce you to Sir Elon Musk. He's a bad motherfucker.
So anyway, all right. So you say 4 days for return travel.
4 days. They don't show 4 days, obviously.
Yeah.
Not
But
even close.
that was their attempt at showing y'all that they've been here a while.
Okay.
And the fact that
Thoros is dead.
Thoros freezes to death, dies, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I think you're willing to give it 2 days.
I don't know,
But it's
dude.
still a long
Bull
time.
crap.
To live in that cold
No, I'm just saying, it's
Yeah.
still a long time just for the dead to just stand there.
Yeah.
And the
and not
Night's
test
King
the
just be like,
waters. Well, and as we find out for the Night King, not to just throw a random javelin, you know. But let me test one of these javelins out real quick and
Easy.
You know, stationary targets. Let me work
Yeah,
on my
no,
practice.
to me, Thoros dies. They couldn't have been out there 6 hours freezing their bum. I mean, I know they made it look like that. Maybe I give them an overnight, but
I mean,
no, there
after-
was an overnight. They show an
Yeah.
overnight.
I mean, I get that. I mean, but
Well, I mean, as soon as he wakes up, you got a little heat. You know, you got a little meat. Like, I mean, there's a lot of good things going on here.
hey, y'all, hold on, guys. We're gonna cook a little bit. Hey, you know, get your flame,
Look,
get
well,
your flame
I'm
on that
sorry.
sword going again.
Save his liver. We'll all be fucked up on that bad boy.
Liver.
Yeah.
Like,
Dibs.
yeah,
Dibs.
Yeah, Hal's over here like,
Dibs.
I will murder anybody for that liver.
All right. So it was sad to see Thoros die. You know, I hate to see that.
They picked the one character that could die that we all like. No one hates Thoros.
No.
We all like Thoros, but none of us are devastated he's gone.
Well, of the Magnificent Seven, he was
The most important, I agree.
the most expendable.
He brings people back to life.
That's
I
the
wouldn't
thing.
call that
that
expendable.
ship has sailed. Okay.
Yeah, because he's dead.
But but it's set up for Barrick to now sacrifice himself
It
for
is
somebody.
It is, and which we said, which we thought was going to happen, which it didn't. But because we were also fighting Cash, you thought that 5 of the 7 were going to die. And,
Look.
and that lame ass
darkest episode ever.
Well, here's my thing. This show,
You
and,
failed.
the book is built off of losing people you care about, and that's what makes it special. And not having people die,
It's fan service.
it's
But
a
my,
trope.
but my thing is, they didn't play on a tropey version of it this episode. I felt like I had legitimate fear for every living person in this episode.
I did not at any point in time.
Even John, when he goes berserker mode and goes in the water and all that stuff, I was like, not that he was going to die, but that he was going to be put out of commission for a while. You know what I'm saying?
We don't
But
have enough time.
Tormund getting drug, all those times, I was like, did that kill Tormund? He's just as inconsequential,
And he should have
more
died.
inconsequential than Thoros was.
Yeah, and so you have go through with it. Like, yes, I would be super sad if he's not on the show and everything. Like, I'm with everybody on that.
But I can't. He has to see Brienne.
He
He has to.
That's because we want him
That's
to.
what
Like,
fan service.
Yeah, that's fan service. Like, you have.
I'm a fan.
I was
wish
really
to be serviced.
surprised. I was really surprised when they're sitting there, and of course, before we even get to when they're fighting, the Hound throwing his pebbles out there. Okay,
Pebbles. These were boulders.
Okay, the first one was a nice river rock.
it's hilarious too to take his jaw off.
And he's like, stupid bastard. And
Did y'all see the memes? Yeah, there was a memes where like it hits it like that, and like it shows like pop up views of everybody around the guy. Like, how fucking rude, man!
Like, Jerry, no, come on.
You know, and then at the top of it goes, everybody has that one jackass friend that throws the extra rock.
okay, so the second rock,
It's bigger, clunkier.
it was bigger, but I gotta admit, I was fucking so stupid. I didn't realize that all it did was show
that you could walk.
Yeah.
the whites that it's frozen back over.
Oh, yeah. I was like, uh-oh.
I was like, oh, he just missed with the bigger rock. Oh, duh, motherfucker. I mean, I was just so stupid.
But no, like I mean, we're right. One rock equates into a couple thousand whites weight, so should be good to go.
But they did stop right on the outside of where the ice broke.
No, I mean they didn't.
And the fact that he threw it and it landed right there and didn't break. I mean, it was a good.
Yeah, but I mean,
and the thing is, they started walking him out. Remember?
Yeah, they were slowly. But like my thing is,
they were testing it.
Yeah,
a night equates into a couple months of a frozen tundra. Like it's automatically stronger than what it had been.
Yeah, we've already proven the frozen lake is absolute horseshit.
But here's the thing too, though. If a White Walker or the Night's King is around, he brings, ungodly cold with him. Remember? Like when you see him, he brings everything freezes around him. And
very true.
I guess we could go that route. That makes it a little more plausible.
Right.
Okay.
But they just didn't show that.
No.
I agree. They should have shown it.
Because if they did, then our heroes on the rock are all frozen to death.
I think they wanted the scene of making it humorous, of throwing the rocks.
Yes.
Oh, no, I appreciate it. I just,
The logic behind it just
completely
falls.
All right, so they burn Thoros' body. We throw the rocks, and it's, oh, hell. You know what I mean? And
then we get an incredible fight scene.
It really was. It really, really was. And this is what I was going to tell y'all, is that I thought it was really cool. I thought it was awesome. The Hound uses the Warhammer and crushes the skull of one of them and goes off in, and then it comes back up with the skull dented in. And I thought that was
you have to see that doesn't kill these things.
And okay, but that right there gave me a problem with everybody else dying. Is like they're over there knocking and killing and doing all this stuff, and they're creating a pile of all these. But he does this one, and it comes back. And so, what about the ones they've been chopping and cutting and they're just laying there dead at their feet?
Everyone that kills dies. Everyone that John kills dies. Everyone that
Jorah
kills dies. So I mean, it's just Tormund.
But Tormund's hitting people with a dragon glass axe,
and Tormund just gets overrun.
The only one who doesn't have a weapon that actually kills on contact is the Hound.
I don't think any of his died on contact, though. Because he ditches the Warhammer for something else.
Yeah, he kind of brute forces them. Yeah. He's the one creating piles of limbs and stuff like that.
I was really surprised that during this scene, we didn't have at least one guy, like, they're fighting, all of a sudden you see a blade go through him. It was
randoms.
But who?
I'm just saying, like, that would have been, like, a complete shock.
I agree.
I'm just being with you. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, I really expected to see Jorah like doing something and then turn at Jon and come back, and all of a sudden a blade just come through his chest, and he's just, and it's all she wrote, and then they're continuing to fight, and that is what like brings on Jon, like all is lost, and turn around and see that there's almost no hope, and that kind of stuff.
Jon's turn and just looking at everything, I was like, oh man,
yeah,
we're fucked. Jon saw the no name tag fall into a pile. And then he was
the uncredited role of the man who gets eaten.
You don't even have a name tag.
Like, you're dead for sure. But that dude dies horrifically.
Oh, yeah. It's gruesome.
They pull him apart nasty.
And then he got it again, and I was like, oh, God, the second time.
But my thing is, why do they pull him apart? Why not just simply kill him and let him come back from the dead?
Yeah, I mean, they're not zombies. They're not trying to eat him.
This isn't The Walking Dead.
They don't eat these guys.
And, blood was actually, squirting to someone.
Oh, no, this guy was, burst like a water balloon. It was disgusting. I was like, this dude was a piñata.
Oh,
just burst with candy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't understand why they aggressively murder. Tormund, they're going to drag into the water. They weren't physically trying to kill him.
No.
Ripping his head off or anything like that. They were literally trying to pull him in. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
And it was great.
Pull Tormund's ass out of there.
We got Tormund screaming help, and I was like, legitimately, who's going to be able to help you? Everyone's fighting 8 people.
Oh, yeah, no, there was nothing.
Yeah. And then the Hound, with, as you said, his
non-lethal weapon.
His non-lethal weapon.
Goes and saves his ass. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there was as cool and as awesome as all this was, and how you felt like it was such a desperate and dire situation. Some of it was just so implausible. But the rule of cool took over.
Oh my God, definitely.
Well, it immediately took over as 3 dragons come swooping in, spitting fire all over the place.
Okay, this to me feels like it would be.
But like I knew this was gonna happen the whole. Like as soon as we hit this island, I was like, "Cool, we have dragons coming to save us."
But no, I'm talking about though. If you're a CG guy,
Yes.
and they're like, "Yeah, we need you to not only burn like bodies like we know you can do, but you have to make it look like it's burning a body and leaving a track through an ice lake and stuff like that. It needs to look really real." And I'm like, Jesus, this was so badass looking.
Like they reinvented CGI with these scenes. Like I mean, this hasn't even come close to being done before.
The lake is bursting, the bodies are bursting, everything is so cool.
As
man.
you said, we have fire cutting through ice.
Yeah.
And like we're watching, like it's not like, oh, imagine. No, we see it.
It's like a laser beam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
like,
what it seems like.
But not just because we see like the individual like heat waves and like different things coming out of the fire. It's like I don't know if we'll ever see anything like it.
No, I mean I never have seen anything like that,
No,
for sure.
no.
Well, you know what? A movie that never gets enough credit for how awesome their Reign of Fire.
Yo,
Their dragons and their fire and stuff like that was utterly amazing.
that was just an underrated movie.
Just underrated. And people don't think about it.
No, I mean Christian Bale,
ball-headed McConaughey. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, remember when they're in like, you see that one where he's like flapping outside the turret of that castle and hitting it with the flame? That is amazing.
Yes.
And honestly,
What was that, 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's
no, it was a
old.
lot longer than that.
Maybe not.
I mean, I feel like I was
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm just saying, we didn't see anything that good after.
No,
And not Smaug, in the Hobbit series.
How dare you?
He didn't look as good as Reign of Fire. And we haven't seen anything as good as Reign of Fire until now with these, with Drogon and them.
I agree. I agree.
Man, superb work.
But then also we have the problem. The only problem I had with this scene was just why not aim for the Night King? Like
I think it was more about rescue.
Yeah, I think it was more about creating a perimeter where they are.
Their goal was to get a live one out, not to win the war.
that's a terrible.
I'm just telling you.
Plan than,
But see, you have to understand. I don't like only the people that were stranded on the island knew if you killed the White King that they all go.
That's fine.
Danny didn't.
I mean, that's fine. But as soon as
then
she
John
lands, it's like, hey.
But see, they were all like, "Get the F out of here, man! Run, get the hell out of here! Go, run, get to the chopper!" I mean, instead of get to Drogon, whatever you want to call it. I mean, they didn't have time for that. And then, of course, John, evidently he needed 6 more kills for his level up. Just went down there.
He was having a competition, with like Lizard. It was like, whoa,
yeah, really,
whoa.
6 more, I get my next level, I power up.
Gimli. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so at what point did John go insane?
It was after Viserion went down.
Was it?
Yeah, because he was like, okay,
Like,
dragons are vulnerable.
He was knocking the whites away so people could get on to the Drogon.
He was sacrificing himself so everybody could else make it out.
And so then the Night King
off.
pulls out the javelin as well as he put his gold medal down out of the way so it wasn't in his way while he could ready to throw.
Well,
we've seen all the
Brazil
memes.
games.
Yeah, the Brazil games. Anyway, and so he throws and, of course, hits
Well, at first, he has his hand wave. Okay, so there's a website called The Ringer, and they actually interviewed a 3-time gold medalist javelin winner on the Night King's form and everything. And his approach, his stance was good, keeping it close to the ear.
Oh, my Jesus.
All actually pretty legit. After that, they want him tested for PEDs because...
Okay, but here's my thing. And a lot of people are calling bullshit on this. Danny and 5 of the 6 of your main enemies are all sitting on Drogon, including the one white that you don't need to go.
Yes.
Because we didn't talk about that, but the whites are all trying to drag that white away from him.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
During the fight and stuff like that. And the Hound's constantly trying to bring it back. That one no-name guy dies when he's dragging it.
Pulling it back.
And he gets pulled. So it's like, he pulls that spear back. Drogon's just sitting there.
Yeah, all he's doing is flaming the perimeter.
Closer.
And Danny's there, who knows riding the dragon. He then just turns and goes to Viserion.
What do you call it? As you're watching him, all of a sudden Viserion appears in the camera shot.
Behind Drogon.
Exactly. And then he decides to take an aerial shot instead of a stationary shot.
He's like, if you're a sniper, you've made a terrible error.
Yes.
So I was like, man, that is kind of bullshit. I mean, you talk about why aren't they killing the Night King? They could end the war.
Yeah.
He could have ended the war.
Very
what I'm
well
saying?
true.
Yeah.
He could have ended all of them. And
I
then
mean-
John, of course, is dead after that.
I mean, he could have ended it before that by, when they're all just sitting there, just sort of throwing javelins as they're all laying on the island. But,
Duck! I'm just saying the best opportunity
Yes.
showed up
Right.
where he had them all just on a pile like a platter. Many birds with one stone. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, no, there's no doubt.
So when he kills Viserion, first off,
coolest thing I've ever seen.
most devastating death of Game of Thrones.
This season? Dude, did y'all watch that?
on the whole entire show?
All I'm saying is,
Dude,
worst
people
trailer-
were crying their eyes out. Like, if you ever watch those YouTube videos where, like, people's reaction to the show,
Yeah.
people were just like, dudes were going, trying to hold back the tears and all this.
CG Dragon just made me lose my, my tears.
Have y'all seen the Trump memes with this? Worst trade in history. One white for a dragon. Worst trade in history. Like, they've got his book, Art of the Deal. And just, like, everything going crazy with it. And I was just like,
yeah. No,
well
I mean,
done. Well
the
played.
best memes were, the Night King for the javelin and, Gendry for the track and field.
Oh, this
I mean, you have the Westeros, track and field team. I mean, it's just
The
they were wearing it
Olympic
out,
team.
boy. All right, so this spear hits Viserys as he's exhaling.
Viserion.
Sorry. He's breathing fire, and like it penetrates and causes
Yeah, it's like
flames
an
to come
internal
out
combustion.
of him.
Yeah, and his blood even looks like it's kind of lava-ish and stuff like that. I don't know if that's the spear that made it do that, but it's
It was brutal.
unbelievably well done. First
Yes,
off, you hear Drogon scream crying.
Rhaegal.
You hear Rhaegal tries to follow him down and like see if he's okay, and then he has to bail out and stuff. It's like,
It was
man,
devastating.
they made this tough. This is like the end of King Kong,
And
right here.
then and just see it land and its eyes be dead and cold, and then slowly go off into the lake, and the head's the last one to come.
And then Daenerys
Oh,
is just
it
like...
drags for a while before
Yeah.
his eyes finally close. You're like watching him, and he's just like, he closes his eyes and he tips.
I was
in.
hurting. Like, I was like, man,
it was tough,
this is...
man.
I
It was
like-
brutal.
I was
Danny's
like-
over there like,
I was sitting there chopping onions, not knowing what was going on.
Yeah,
and, like,
No, but then John turns into beast mode right after that. That look he has.
Yes.
Come at me, bro.
just,
I thought he was going to charge the Night King at that point. I was
Well, I
like,
think he was looking at him like he was.
that's the plan. 'Cause
And-
it wasn't until a
pulled another
assistant
spear.
Yeah.
gets some spear again. He's like, fuck, never mind.
Go!
Run! He's like, you brought two? Like,
Yeah, man. That's the thing too. You're the Night King's left-hand man. Just, like,
Oh, yeah.
just hand me those spears off to my horse there, if you wouldn't mind.
it was like
"Here you go,
a
sir."
Knight's Tale, where it was like everyone's like getting around him. It's like, oh, here you go.
Yeah,
Don't trade yourself.
I like this stuff,
Oh yeah,
But yeah, John going berserker. It was in a way kind of silly because
it made sense though. I mean, that's his character. Like, he's going to sacrifice himself so everyone else can live, and that's ultimately what he was making sure they could take off. They could get on Drogon, and they could get out.
do we need more like heroic moments for John? Like, we
No.
already know that he's willing to die for the cause.
Well, but here's the thing was, when he came back to life, they said you're going to see not necessarily John anymore, but a more reckless person, somebody who, like, he's not going to be John, and there's going to be parts missing and everything. And I think that's what this was trying to portray.
I don't know.
Is
I
this
just
is
think
somebody
it's
who-
his character.
yeah, I felt like they were just giving him another.
I thought
hero
this was
moment.
like him going after Ramsay after he realized that, I mean, that's just his character.
I think it's just part of the dark side. Like, I need to kill things of coming back to life.
I mean,
because-
it could have something to do with it. Because Barracks talked about how you lose parts of yourself every time you come back. Some of you goes away, but we don't know that. We don't know what the extent of that's going to be. If you win the war, what happens to John? Does he just drop dead?
No. He makes babies with Daenerys. Like, I mean, that's obviously what happens when the war's
Well,
over.
we're gonna
Challenge
talk-
accepted. Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about
yeah,
that.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
beeps too.
Yeah.
I can't have children. Challenge accepted.
All right, so suddenly John breaks through the ice. Magical spot that was weak. Okay, all right, and they fall through the ice. He's under. They're all upset. Drogon and them fly off. The spear misses by a mere couple feet. and so on. And so that's what everybody's left. It's all she wrote. Everybody's upset, sad. We're all misty, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, John comes out of the water and grabs Long Call that happens to be sitting
Not only that, he's underwater long enough for the Night King and all the whites to leave.
This was like watching Jamie and Braun show up after their battle.
Oh, because like Jamie was on
27 minutes later. They came up after,
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
They swam the Mississippi and they got away from.
So they come out. He comes out of the frozen lake. Of course, good. And this is a scene where everybody went supposedly bananas online. I'm like, bull crap. Where Long Claw's pommel hand eye supposedly opens and closes.
Yeah.
Did you not hear about this?
No.
Okay,
Yes.
so no, what
People
happens
have screenshots of it where a snowflake lands on it, looks like an eye, and it disappears like it blinked or something.
No, like what happened was it was like his glove like shadows the eye and stuff, and like it made the eye look like it opens up. And it's really cool.
No lie.
No, like I
It
mean,
went ablaze across the internet, and I was like,
It's
"You
one of the
guys
cool-
have got too much fucking
it's
time
one
on
of
your
the
hands."
coolest screenshots I've ever seen. Like I'll send it to you so you can see it.
Okay,
But
yeah,
the
'cause I don't
director
know what
came
the fuck
out.
we're talking about.
Yeah, no.
The director came out and was like, "Look, it just happened to be a cool scene. Like we didn't catch it in
Happy
editing or
accident.
anything.
Yeah, it was a happy
It
accident.
has nothing to do with the show."
No,
but,
his,
like-
his sword's not like. People were speculating that Bran was warging the sword.
Jesus. Now it's working inanimate objects.
Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna be this fire hydrant today. I like to be pissed on by dogs.
Ghost, come over here.
Yeah.
Let me be Brienne's saddle
Okay,
today.
so here. I'm done. I'm done. Good night. This is
Torben's
BleedTV.
like, hey man, let me in on this.
Brienne saddle. You're wrong for that, man. Oh God! All right.
The carpet matches the drapes.
Oh my Lord. We're gonna move forward now, girls.
The dick matches that.
I'm out. Okay. All right. How long? Get off your horse. Anyway, how long? John just comes out of this. We're in the blistering cold. Realistically, how long does my man actually able to stand up, move, or anything after getting out of this water?
I mean, hypothermia takes actually a little bit of time to kick in and everything, especially once you
All
start
right,
moving.
I've watched Alaskan Crab, okay, the show and stuff like that, and they say even if you have one of those suits on, you have 6 minutes.
Okay, well here's what I'm gonna
6
get
minutes.
into.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay. I don't care how much damn wolf fur he had on him.
All right, well, I want to get to another theory that I'm hearing
okay.
pretty often now about John. Same thing about Barrick, which doesn't necessarily jive together, but
Considering he's already dead.
Can John die from freezing to death in that water?
Yeah, I mean, he's still got blood running in his veins and everything.
I agree with you, but the theory is that John is a white, basically.
No, they're different things.
And I agree with you, but they're saying that something's wrong with John. Because here's the question. Why did John's wounds on his chest look so bad? You know what I'm talking about? When they undo his shirt and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
look like fresh wounds.
They do look fresh.
On his body. If you pull Beric Dondarrion's shirt off, his shoulder is reattached.
Yes.
He's obviously reattached.
Yeah, it's obviously healed.
Exactly. But John looks
like
like
he still has
a
holes in it.
zombie. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I mean, those things are like up off of his body.
Yeah, like it has higher surface on them.
Which makes me wonder, what I'm talking about is, if the war ends, does John just die?
I don't think so.
Because Lord of the Light saves him, right?
Mm-hmm.
The red comet, that's supposed to be the beginning of magic coming back. Dragons come back. White Walkers come back. All that stuff. If that's Red Comet finishes its path beyond the whatever Earth this is or whatever, and Night King's dead or whatever the case may be, what's John's purpose after that? You know what I mean? Like,
Living life.
Barrick's right. You were brought back for a reason, just
Yeah.
like he was.
I mean, I don't. Then that means Ghost dies. I mean, I know no one knows who Ghost is at this point because we haven't seen him. But I mean, direwolves were taken off the land too. Like, do the dragons die?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's the question.
I'm just saying
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
I mean, no, I see what you're saying, but like, I just
they lay John down and pry his clothes off of him.
Yes.
yeah, it's like it's snap, crackling, and popping as it comes
which
off.
is awesome. By
Yeah.
the way, when they do it. I'm just saying, I think something's wrong with John.
Well, yeah, something's definitely wrong with John, but like I don't think
He's got 7 holes in his chest, dude. Yeah.
But why do the holes look like that?
I'm with you. I'm totally with you on
just
that.
to show it, just so Danny can see it and understand that he did die. Like, I mean, I think it was just to put emphasis on it for her.
Barrick shows you his scars in that scene with the Hound. Remember?
Yeah.
You see this noose around his neck mark, the spear through his chest mark, all that stuff. They're scars. John has gaping wounds on his body.
Well, and I think it was just the pain emphasis.
Okay. Before we even get to this, we completely went over.
I'm not going over.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, we forgot that John gets basically rescued from Benjen, who shows up. Cool ass scene though of the horse coming through with the whipping fire.
Yeah, seeing that flail again or the fiery mace, whatever it is.
I had totally forgotten that that's what he toted.
Coolest weapon in
Dude,
this entire
especially
series.
when you had like the misty, like all you could see is it barely going through. I thought that was sick. Was awesome.
And some motherfucker who's just amazing animator, I guess, created just this simple GIF of cartoon skeletons and a guy just prancing around and just spinning a flail and it's just knocking their heads off. He done it in like 30 seconds after the scene. I swear. Only thing I can think of is he watched the leaked episode.
Yeah.
And started working on it all day, but didn't release it because I was following Twitter Live. Didn't release it until
Bravo.
I mean, good for him.
Yeah,
but it was amazing.
Well done. And so there's a huge theory that Bran called Benjen, and
there's no evidence. No evidence of that.
Well, back when Benjen saved Bran, he said the 3-Eye Raven called me, and Mira said the 3-Eye Raven's dead. He's like, Bran's the 3-Eyed Raven. And so the theory is he can do it subconsciously.
My thing is...
the Benjen thing pissed me off. I was cool as that scene was.
Yes.
He throws him on the horse and stays and dies 2 seconds later. Only kills one more before they overtake him. It was like bullshit. I was like, what?
This is Rose on the door on the Titanic.
Yeah.
Move your big ass over. Jack can get on there with you.
Here.
Well, there's still the problem with he can't get through the wall. And
so he gives a flying? I give you a ride. I'm going back.
He could be the gatekeeper for all I care. He just stand there and wait for Gendry to run.
I think this was a waste. I mean, like for him to say I've got more to do and da-da-da-da-da, only to come back to save John and die immediately.
Well, there's also the theory that weighs down the horse. They don't outrun him anymore. I mean, there's not a good reason.
Malarkey.
I mean, I'm just saying. There's not a great reason for why Benjen didn't get on the horse, but
it just sucks because it would have been cool to have a conversation with Benjen and John.
Yes, there's a lot that Benjen could have told him.
Just if Benjen saying "I'm proud of you" would have been amazing. You know what I mean? Just Benjen was the one that told him about the honor of the Night's Watch.
Yes,
he decided to join him, went with him, and stuff like that. I mean, it was just like he taught him how to be a man.
Or I would have much preferred him being like, "Man, you look like Lyanna," instead of Thor saying you don't, or Barrick saying you don't look like your dad or anything. Like coming from Benjen, like that conversation
would have carried more weight.
Yes,
I got you. Okay, so Benjen was a total loss. So Danny's waiting on the top of the wall
for no reason.
Zero reason. To me, I'm the same way. At first I thought she was just up there mourning. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because they're, the dragons are up there wailing, and she's there, and
the dragons are calling to Viserion.
Yeah.
Trying to see if it's alive. But I mean, you don't know. I mean, you think that's your children, you're gonna hold out hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was good that somebody tells her, "Hey, we can't wait any longer. We must go."
But I mean, she wasn't waiting on Viserion. She was waiting on John. John. So it was just like
no, she was waiting on Viserion. John was the happy.
I mean, I was watching. I was like, we're waiting to see if John comes back.
No way.
Oh yeah,
I'm totally.
No way.
Oh yeah,
you're on an island, my friend.
Y'all are on a lost island, just some horseshit island.
Did you see her legs when John came out?
Oh, here we go.
We're on the correct side here.
Yes.
Jesus, did she reflood the wall?
Oh, how do you?
The wall got thicker right there.
The wall got thicker at that point.
Got himself a mucous membrane, did it?
Anyway,
She was waiting on
he
John.
shows up on the horse. They pry him off of it. They put him in that bed. Like you said, cool ass scene of them uncrackling the clothes off of him.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you this whole time. I was sitting there with my wife. I was like, "We're so gonna get the what was that movie that oh god, Elizabeth Shue and a guy was a
The Saint.
The Saint, yeah, where
Val
he's freezing-
Kilmer.
yeah, Val Kilmer.
Yeah, body heat, baby.
Body hate, baby. I was like, if she got some kind of Targaryen
what?
gap, lingerie, and just gonna hop on top to warm him up.
Danny's secret. yeah. I don't know about all that. No, I thought this was done extremely well.
Yes,
with her, him and Danny.
Yeah.
And I'm glad she pulled back at the end because I don't want it to be that easy. You know what I mean?
True.
Dude, man.
But we get
everybody and their brother was getting gushy, hoping something was going to go down.
Oh yeah, there's two gorgeous human beings staring at each other with dog's eyes.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
But then we get the awkward
God.
moment of he calls her Danny. She's like, "Ooh," and the only person who called me that was my brother. And I was like, "Great." Now we've thrown in the incest thing.
Yeah.
You're
The
lumping
bro
him in with family. Good,
Yeah.
Thanks, Daenerys. Ruin the moment.
Ew.
Ruin the moment for all of us.
Well, I mean, we are talking about ancestral family. I mean, this could
Yeah.
be. That reminds me of Joe Dirt. You're my sister. You're my sister.
Wait, does it work? I'm your sister. I'm your sister.
Would it help if I went back to being your sister?
No, that's just.
Like I'm some kind of white trash freak? Perv or something like that? I don't remember what he says. Oh, your sister.
He's like, no, I'm kidding.
Okay, so did y'all see the meme where it shows a snapshot of her, like the googly eyes, and John kind of looking like he's disgruntled, and then the next one is got the guy off Seinfeld goes, "I just got out of the pool, man."
Oh yeah, George. Yeah. Yes, I remember the episode.
Oh, so anyway, then the greatest BS scene of all time of this entire season, the ship anchor or giant enormous chains that were readily available there on the side of the mountain on the
And the
Arrowhead Mountain.
scuba whites who were able to just go all the way down to the bottom
Wrap
of
it
this.
up.
No, there was already some down there.
Oh, so
Hey,
they just dropped
put the chains on, boys.
Well, I mean, Night King can talk to him mentally, so it's like,
No idea how they hook these chains.
while y'all are down there, we appreciate your service. You can climb on its back if you want to.
Yeah. Grab a scale or a little hook.
Oh, God. I was just like, when they were pulling the dragon, I was like, that's really cool, we got the dragon, but what the F did we get these chains from?
And how long were these chains? I mean
they're
we've
going
got
side of the mountain.
miles of whites just pulling these chains, and I'm like, okay.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Like you just said, how long were those chains? Name something that needs a chain that long that we have seen on this show.
Tyrion, when he had but I mean, he only made one for the Battle of Blackwater.
Okay, but here's my thing. We saw the Night King literally just raise his arms like Scott Stapp, and they all just got up. You know what I'm saying? Like all the people that were dead just got up. Why did he have to touch the dragon? It would have been super badass if he just steps to the edge of the lake, lifts his arms up, and then all of a sudden you see it just burst out of the lake.
Yes.
It comes up,
Maybe
walks
it
up
was
to him, just like Drogon walked up to Jon, blue eyes and all, and then just sees like some steam come out of his mouth or something. Would have been wicked badass.
I mean, maybe it was just so deep and it required a lot more power and magic
For something that size.
to get the dragon.
horse manure.
Well,
I think what
magic takes
you're
magic.
saying would have been a much cooler, much more plausible and effective scene than the 3/4 mile chains that were happening to be on the other side of the mountain. They were ready, waiting.
Maybe we ran out of budget.
Where'd they get the dead polar bears? Just randomly walk up on a half-eaten polar bear?
Yeah.
I'll touch you, bud.
Yeah.
Come on back.
Come here, Cuddly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Man, I'm just saying they should
No,
have
just think about it before you put it on film.
Why the hell do you have chains?
Like,
Make it ropes, and you're fine.
No.
Because you need something to get over the wall. Something.
I'm just.
no, the wall's gonna crack. The wall's just gonna shatter. They're not climbing this wall.
Just using a dragon against the wall now.
That's true. Ooh, maybe that's how they bring down the wall.
Well,
I don't think they bring the wall. If you've got something that can go over it now without any problem.
if you kill the whites, there's no reason to have the wall anymore. I mean, White Walkers are gone.
Yeah.
No reason for the wall.
Yeah. But, yeah, as awesome as it was to see him turn the dragon, the blue eye, and all that stuff, which was pretty freaking sweet.
I don't know if any of y'all ever saw Yu-Gi-Oh! Or your kids, but as soon as like that was done, there was people posting memes of the Night King dropping Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, please.
But I'll be honest with you. I just sat there and thought about the change the whole time. I was like, man, this is just total BS.
Oh, it was awful.
I'm just like, I was like, as cool as this scene is, you completely set it up the worst way possible.
So have y'all been crafting iron ore for centuries on the other side of the wall? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Are these ice chains? Something?
there's nothing. Like, this is like, writers came to this decision in a room, and they all kept their job.
that goes, that's okay.
It's just like,
Well, it's either that or they're like, okay, they went back to the Night King fortress, got the chains, and came back. That's why all this time is passing. That's why they move so slow. Forgot the chains.
Go back to the shed.
I gotta pee. Damn it! I told you to pee before we left.
you only bring one?
Forgot my phone. I'm naked without it.
What direction are we going?
Your bones, for God's sake.
Okay.
So does dragon breathe ice or fire?
I'm
What are we
hoping
thinking?
ice. Because ice
I'm
dragons
going to be
are
honest
real.
with you. I'm going to say it doesn't breathe anything. To me, I don't think so.
I think it's going to breathe ice.
Yeah.
Well, see, that was a big debate.
Freeze
the
armies.
Nerdist put out an article, or somebody put out an article about how by the dragon being alive, it's actually hypocritical of what it is, and so on. Like, it's not like a polar bear or something like that the dragon breathes something. I don't think it just converts it. There was something they read about, in which I've forgotten the details, where it doesn't make sense if it does ice. The way it is.
Who cares?
I'm with
We're at
you.
the rule. We don't understand dragons.
But I say that, and I'm like, you might have a really good point, but this is also coming from the writers who just made 4 magic chains show it to pull it out of the water.
That's what I'm saying. We see how badass it is when they, turn Lannisters into Sarah Connor. It's like, I would love to see it where they turn them into ice and then just burst or melt. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah. But I mean,
Sarah Connor. Oh my god.
but we.
I got nothing, man. I keep with this visual of her holding the chain link.
John!
T2 relived, yes.
But no, I mean, it goes back to old Nan. She talked about ice dragons in her stories and everything.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, just like when they went below Dragonstone, I thought we were going to get at least a carving of dragon glass of a dragon.
Yes.
To prove the stone dragon, right? We're not going to get that, obviously.
No, clearly
but
not.
Now we're going to get an ice dragon. Super badass.
Like,
the ice polar bear was just a
taster.
It's like, oh, we could tease you with, he can do
the appetizer
large animals.
But now the question is, do we think Bran can warg into an ice dragon?
We don't know. There's a really cool thing going around that Bran is the Night's King.
That is not a cool thing.
And it's because they're wearing the same outfit, basically.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But they are wearing
Very similar.
almost the exact same costume.
Right.
So it's a little weird, but
Well, can you warg into something that's dead?
we've never seen him do anything before,
Right.
so we don't know.
I mean, we've never even heard of anyone warging into dragons. Like,
Right.
that is unheard of.
Okay, so they're bringing an ice dragon. Is the ice dragon to basically just to kill Rhaegal, the other dragon?
I don't think this ice dragon is going to kill a dragon.
You don't think so?
No, because Jon's going to ride Rhaegal.
But can dragons live beyond
Yes.
once Dany gets the crown?
Yes.
Is that going to be allowed? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. They can, but
Yeah.
will the show allow it? I don't see how Dany keeps peace without dragons.
Well, I'm just saying, Dothraki are a problem.
Yes.
Alone. Dragons are a huge problem because people are always going to fear, what you're
Correct.
capable of. It's like the nuke. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I have a feeling that there will not be any dragons at the end of this.
God, that'd be devastating.
I would hate that, but I mean, I see where you're going.
But I think that has to be the way it works.
Well, I would prefer a situation where if something does, and a conclusion comes, and a dragon's allowed to be released and go. You know what I mean?
And maybe they go back to
Dragonstone or
Valeria.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Valeria.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. You know what I mean? And they just go back home, basically. Where,
But Danny's not leaving her kids. Like, that's not going to be a thing.
I don't think the kids were going to give her a choice, is what I'm saying. If any of them's alive, I think it goes to Valeria, where Valerian steel was made.
Well,
All
I mean, that
stuff.
just doesn't make sense just because of the connection that they have with her, and I think Rhaegal's going to have with Jon. Like, and if she's still alive, the dragons aren't leaving her.
All right, since we're talking about the future, let's break down what we think's going to happen next episode. Okay, of course we see the preview, and the big deal is the big meeting to Dragon
I
Pit.
have not seen a preview.
Okay, all it is everybody and their brother meets at Dragon Pit. Okay, that's all.
All sides come together.
Oh, like all right, they show the worm, the Grey
Grey Worm's
Worm,
back.
and all 60,000 Unsully.
Dothraki.
The Dothraki show up. I mean, like, there's more Unsully in this scene right here than we've ever seen on camera.
But didn't you also see, damn, I don't even remember his name now. Crow's Eye.
Oh,
You see his fleet, you know what I mean? And you see what little's left of Danny's fleet.
Okay.
And all your characters minus Danny.
Sansa and them?
Sons, no.
Okay.
Now remember, Sansa's already said she won't go to King's
Yeah.
Landing.
Like, I didn't know if,
Sent
like...
Brienne in her
Right,
stead.
but
Say
yeah,
what?
so Sansa, Arya, and Danny are not present in
Okay.
the preview. And which my understanding
Danny's
is
there.
Danny. I think Danny's there, but she's on her dragon at a
Yeah.
distance. And I think that Tyrion is sent as a mediator for the meeting first. This is a meeting for Jon and Cersei, with Tyrion and all the forces there as a
Because they've
collective.
never met before, have they? Jon and Cersei.
Yeah,
Oh,
first
they've met
episode.
in first episode.
So
No, Danny's supposed to be there too because this is their
Yeah.
truce meeting.
right, but I don't think Danny's there initially, because when they show the previews like that, like they show everybody there, and there's no Danny.
I agree. Danny makes an entrance.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Gotta
because these two
one-up her.
people have never met each other, and that was said in the statement in this episode. Is that I finally get to meet your sister for the first time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because they talk about traps and what Cersei's planning, and Cersei we already know.
Yeah.
It was already planning something, so it's like that's what I'm saying.
I just want Tyrion to be a little bit drunk for this meeting. Like,
I think if a dragon survives, it's Drogon, not
Rhaegal.
Rhaegal. So Rhaegal dies either by scorpions or ice dragon. Okay, that's what I think.
okay.
So it's like, is that Cersei's plan? She's in this pit, but maybe she's hidden scorpions all around it to fire at one of the dragons if one of them shows up. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's my thing. I don't know. So
It'll be interesting.
I don't think we lose a dragon back-to-back episodes.
we didn't lose a dragon.
Well, to Danny's thought, that dragon's dead.
The worst trade in history.
Everybody in this meeting that is on Danny's side knows the dragon's gone. Nobody knows that it's returned.
I agree, but
I don't think
She
we're going to
shows up
lose
with
two of our normal live dragons back to back.
okay. So you think this meeting's going to go off without a hitch with Cersei?
No. But I think by the show of power, it can't be. I don't know.
Do we think main characters die?
I don't think so. I think if anybody dies, it's Finger at Winterfell, or Tormund at the East Watch, or something of that nature. It's not going to be at this meeting. I think this meeting is a true. This is what I got. This is what you got. But we need to wake up and realize this is what we need to be fighting against.
It's honestly hard for me to believe that Cersei will live beyond this episode. And my reasoning for that is the main battle that they all keep talking about is between the living and the dead.
Yes.
Right? They have to end this whole Cersei situation at some point. It's like, I realize Cersei and Jaime are massive characters. Mm-hmm. But
There's no point. Like, I mean,
what's the point of keep carrying them on? Other than the fact that it's good television, it's like, we only have 6 episodes next season, right?
Yes.
Correct.
I mean, 6 episodes needs to be this battle with the whites. I just like, well, how long are we going to just toss around Cersei?
Yeah, and like Euron's completely pointless because he can really only fight in water. You're not going to have a scorpion on a boat. Like,
we don't know what they're planning or whatever the case may be, but I'm just saying.
So I think there's a good chance Euron's dead by the end of this episode. Maybe not necessarily Cersei, but I think there's a good chance she's gone.
I just don't know.
Yeah, it's wide open. Well, all I know is that Jamie's going to be back next season because he came out on Twitter talking about how I'll be starting to film in October.
He didn't say he would be in it.
No, Jamie's in it.
Yeah, he said, well, I get my script soon, 6 weeks before, and we'll start filming towards the end of October.
I thought he just said we're filming and stuff, but he wouldn't commit to saying that he was actually filming. Like,
But Cersei is to die at the hands of the little brother. Both are her little brother.
Yes.
So
Euron is a little brother. Like, there's...
That's the thing. The Valonqar or whatever,
John's a little
Valonqar,
brother.
it can be any little brother.
Yeah.
Doesn't say her little brother.
It just says, so, I mean, we got Jon, Tyrion, Jaime, Euron.
Bran.
Well...
He's the little brother. I mean...
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds, you know what I'm saying?
But I think the reader is expecting Jaime or Tyrion.
Well, yes, obviously.
I'm expecting Jaime to kill.
I think we're all expecting Jaime at this point. Like, I mean, they've been painting that picture for a long while.
So are you telling me you think that this meeting gets blown off by like Cersei's like, go fight your own damn war and I'll just take over after you've, blah, 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 blah. And then Jaime's like, you realize what you're doing and kills her and that's the end of it?
Well, Jaime has to realize her short-sightedness.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Which...
He's going to have, for him to do that, he's going to have to learn that her pregnancy is fake and that she has truly betrayed him for him to get mad enough to do this. Her not agreeing to go to battle with Dany is not enough for to say, I'm going to kill you. No. He's got to be betrayed.
So, yeah. Is there a betrayal in the past that we've already seen that he doesn't know about?
Her sleeping with everybody?
It was Lancel. That was it.
Yeah, I guess this isn't book, so she hasn't really been...
Well, the thing with Tyrion in the books, when he kills Tywin and is leaving, he unloads everything on Jaime about Cersei and whatever. You know what I mean? He says that he killed Joffrey and that Cersei's been fucking Lancel.
And the Kettle Pots or the whoever they were.
And the Kettle Blacks, who are not in this show at all. But she was just manipulating people. You know what I mean? So, anyway.
I can't think of anything that would be a revelation to him.
In the show.
In the show that would justify him going and strangling her.
Agreed. The only theory that I've heard, and this, I don't know if this would have anything to do with Jaime necessarily, but the main theory is that Cersei is Gendry's mother. Okay?
That one is going around. That Gendry is a legitimate son.
Okay. But that would also mean that Gendry is the older brother, correct?
Well, of who?
Of Joffrey.
Well, yeah.
No, he's not. He's only a half brother. But yeah, he's the older brother of him.
I would think, right?
Yeah. Because he was the firstborn that she was like, no, we lost him. But the theory is
that she sent him away because it wasn't a child of Jaime's.
Correct.
And she only wanted the children of Jaime.
But yes, how would you prove that? The only person that would know that would be Bran.
Well, I think we might have seen in the meeting that Gendry might be at the meeting in this next episode.
It's possible.
And it's possible that they have a knowing look when they see each other or something like that.
But he was given away as a baby. Like, how would
there's no way he would have a knowing look.
I agree with you. But Cersei told Cat,
yeah,
I had a child with dark hair, with black hair. And Gendry says the only thing he remembers about his mother is she was blonde. That's it. Now, how a baby would know you would remember that it was blonde hair, I don't have a clue. But I'm just saying.
Fan service.
I mean, who is at this meeting that could say,
no one.
You had you gave birth to a child with dark hair, and this is the child.
Cersei is literally the only person that could.
Right. So Ned.
Well, Davos knows.
He doesn't know that Cersei had this child.
Davos knows he's a bastard of Robert Baratheon. Mm-hmm. We don't know that it could be Cersei's actual child. And If that's the case,
He's the legitimate ruler of Westeros.
he's the legitimate ruler of Westeros as a non-Targaryen. Because you got to remember, Robert was a usurper.
Yes,
Right.
but I mean that makes he was the last king, so he would be the legitimate ruler.
And if he became the legitimate ruler, then that puts a wrinkle in Danny's plan.
Well, no, because it's like, hey,
Because
I
they're
can kill you.
usurpers.
Right.
The Baratheons usurped the Targaryens.
That doesn't like Gendry doesn't have an army. He doesn't
Right,
have
right, right. I know
a
what you mean.
family. So like
Yeah.
it's
But
give
Gendry
me,
is friends to John and this, that, or so on.
Yeah.
So that's where the wrinkle would be.
Right. I'm just saying, I think that might have, maybe that's the thing that sends Jaime over the edge or something. I don't know. I don't know how
It's
it
a
would tie in.
stretch. Yeah, that's a stretch of something. Somebody would have to have knowledge. And it would have to, it varies. Is it possible that he was around would know?
I can't remember who hid the baby.
I mean, I guess in that sense,
I mean, you could
because-
twist it where he was.
Exactly.
That would be awesome if Varys comes out there and goes, "You want to meet the son you let go?"
The best bet would be Littlefinger, just because he ran the brothels and everything, and this child was sent to the brothels essentially. But I mean, you couldn't say that.
It could make it a possibility, but you need that key. You need your star witness,
Yeah.
to come out.
And
I think it would have to be Varys, though. I think it would have to be.
It'd be either. I mean, they were both as well connected throughout the time, but
Varys, in the books, is the one who hides Aegon
yes,
Targaryen.
no, not it's not Aegon. It's Aegon's egg.
I thought this guy's name was Aegon as well. Maybe I'm wrong.
It might be. I don't know.
Anyway, the hidden Targaryen child that was thought dead, alive.
Yeah.
If he was the one that hid Gendry, that kind of is a cool playback.
I think that's that could be something like, "You've lied to me. There's another child out there."
But still, I don't
think that's betrayal to Jaime.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. It has to be. What if Cersei just murders Gendry on the spot?
Or, what if? Well, no. I just can't think of something that just like signifies absolute betrayal.
If she murders her son because he's the rightful king over her, in front of Jaime or whatever the case, has the mountain just crush him or something?
That could be something.
That's Mad King-esque.
That's the short-sighted shit that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, she wants the power. It had nothing to do with her children dying.
Yeah.
She wants the power.
That could be enough.
You know what I mean? That's the thing I think could send him over the edge.
But I also still want Gendry to see Arya again, so I'm kind of torn on this.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I mean, it's possible. I
If
mean,
Littlefinger rolls up,
Oh,
sees Gendry,
Littlefi-
it's like, hold up.
and that's Arya Littlefinger instead of
yeah, I mean, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hey, Gendry, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. All right. So are we to conclude that we're going to have the King's Landing deal and we're going to have the Winterfell? Are we going to have anything at the wall? Are we going to, I mean, is that going to be the cliffhanger next year? I mean, for next year,
I
is that
think-
things finally get to the wall?
I don't
Has to.
think that's the cliffhanger. Like I think it ends with the wall coming down.
I don't think the wall falls. I just think we have either we meet at the wall or the dead have made it to the wall, you know, where
No, the wall's coming down.
We're not meeting at the wall. No way.
No, the Maesters have made it to where the wall comes down. Like when he said, all this has happened, you know, we've done all this, the wall still stands. As soon as those words were said, the wall's coming down.
It wouldn't surprise me if the last thing we see is Dolorous Ed, you know, standing on top of the wall, seeing the army of the dead or whatever the case may be approaching,
that's what I think.
and be like, "Get me the Maester." You know what I mean? It's like,
Send the Ravens.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Turbo.
But they should be seeing Eastwatch before they see.
We don't know where they could go.
Castle
I mean,
Black.
at this point, they could go to Castle Black first.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think if anything, we see them in proximity of the wall, not necessarily
Kind of like we saw Gendry see the wall in the distance before
Yeah.
he ran up on it.
Correct.
You know? Yeah.
to let you know we're here. You know, that's where I see that. So, all right,
And
Man.
we're 2 hours in, guys.
Gotta cut
we're
it.
bleeding.
Yeah.
We're bleeding
Must
here.
sleep.
Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it. We, like I said, the episode was cool. It had a lot of head scratching parts, and Cash said it was the worst one ever. But hey, whatever.
Game of Thrones wise, like I mean, it was highly entertaining and everything, but like compared to like the intricacies of this, I can't even talk anymore.
Anyway,
After
if
2 hours.
Cash is totally wrong or totally right, let us know on Facebook. Let us know on Twitter. BleedTV Podcast. We're all over it. Don't be shy. Love to hear from you guys and add it to the show or whatever. And, and look forward to it. But other than that, guys, we're going to call it a night. This is BleedTV. I'm Zach.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Cash.
We'll see y'all next week.